Hello, world. How's everyone doing tonight?
I'm all right. How are you? Or
Good. I have Christopher here tonight. Chris, how you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Sorry. Yeah, that was for the world, not for me. But I'm weird like that. So hi.
Hey, it's all
I'm
good, man.
here with some
First,
fat guy.
first stream jitters, bugs, bunch of little trolls to iron out of the software, but we are live.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Fucking thing sucks. We're trying.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been interesting past few months for me. I was feuding with my local sex club. Don't know if you wanted any, information on that.
No, absolutely. Anything you're comfortable to talk about or don't mind sharing to the world here.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, so I tried being part of this one community. I've kind of been cooped up since before COVID. So when COVID happened, really nothing much changed in my life. But I'm like, trying to dip my toes back out in social events and experiences. And I found myself going to the local Colorado Springs sex club called Voodoo Leatherworks. And I attend their BDSM 101 class on October 2nd. I remember, like, I was a little goofy. I said a few jokes. Some of them landed, most of them landed. Others didn't. And, I was kind of groggy that day. And
Sure.
I was trying to make a point about, like, a sub that was kind of scaring, like, a dom. And essentially, like, the situation was, I mean, I went through a similar experience, so I'll tell you my experience. And like, I had a woman in my bed, and we're all cuddling, and then she's grinding up against my member,
Sure.
and she's like getting me aroused and everything. And then she's like holding me. She's like reach her hand down my pants and everything. And anyway, I actually will just like leave it at that. Yeah, I denied her. I denied her
Yeah.
sex because she denied me sex last time. So I was like, look, I'm going to deny you. And then I like was kind of like, no, I'm not in the mood, and I just kind of rolled over. And the next morning, my friend, that did that with me was like, she said something. Man, I forget what it was exactly, but it was something like, "Oh, you mean about that unconsensual shit last night?" And it's like, "What the hell, dude? Your
Oh,
your hand
yeah.
was wrapped around me." Like what the fuck like are you talking about? And that kind of scared me. That scared me. This chick has mental health issues.
Oh,
She
Jesus. Yeah.
she doesn't, it doesn't make her a bad person or anything.
No, no, no.
And but she said it and it tweaked me out. And so this dom at this one fucking at the sex club there had like a similar experience, something like that. And the dom is going along thinking that it's consensual, and then the sub scares the shit out of him in like a similar way. And the one thought that came to my mind was like, how stupid like is that, like, for them to do that, because that's scary. For like, as I just said a few moments ago, why it's scary. And so, but I got cut off. I couldn't make the point that I just did. It was a groggy day. This was before I got my CPAP machine, so my brain isn't really functioning. It's amazing. I just got a CPAP machine like mid-October, and it's really changed my life. I had no idea how mentally handicapped I was until I actually started using it, and then saw
You
how much
contribute
better I
that
was
to
doing.
you contribute that to a better night's sleep or something, then you're losing sleep from not having that machine?
Well, um, it helps me. Like, I stop breathing for more than 10 seconds, like dozens of times an hour. And
Right.
so, like, it just helps me maintain breathing, and just a few acts, like whether it's a dozen or two per hour, it just like that much is enough to like handicap you. You may not think that it's a difference, but it has made like a world of difference in my life at least. And it
No,
was
yeah,
like one of the best. What was that?
I was just curious on what you attributed that to. If you're
Well,
finding that you're sleeping better, so that would help your mental state.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, this was before that though, so I'm having a hard time getting my thoughts out. I said like a half dozen words. Upon saying the word stupid, like the teacher cut me off and was like, "How dare you?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." Um, and like I had left, I wasn't asked to leave or anything. I stayed the rest of the class. I didn't linger around or anything because I was thinking about this teacher, like what a douchebag. Um, and uh, and I just kind of left, and I came back like a week or so later to this polyamorous meetup where, I stayed as late as I could, and then I had to catch the bus and leave. But it was like I stayed 3/4 of the time. It was pretty much the whole, like I stayed an hour and a half out of a 2 hour like little meetup thing. And then in order to attend the sex parties and whatever, the swinger parties, you got to go through a new member orientation. And the following month in November, they're doing a new member orientation on November 15th. So I contacted the club on November 14th, and I like just kind of I've been thinking about this teacher for a long time and the scenario and just replaying it in my head. And I'm like, no, I think he just kind of like did me wrong, and maybe at least give me a bit more time to explain or clarify before he got all like overly sensitive because I said the word stupid. And
Sure.
then I'm like, I want to label this dude an asshole, like, and just be done with it. After I said the word stupid, I should back up just a quick second. Here's something I forgot to mention is that after he did that, he's like, you have the right to fuck everyone off. And what I mean by that, or fuck anyone off, or I guess everyone, but like you have the right to not talk and play with someone you don't want to, and that's like a duh rule. And I was like, okay, and I kind of actually like raised my hands up, like in kind of praise for him saying that because I'm like, I have somebody in mind for that, like this teacher. Um, so I replayed the scenario just to make sure that I came to the right conclusion. And I'm like, yeah, the dude is an asshole, like straight up, like I've and we'll soon you'll soon learn like that yeah I was correct. But so I contact the sex club the day before the new member orientation. I say, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. I could do it publicly, but I could pull the dude aside and here's why I think you're an asshole and I don't want to play with you. I essentially said something like that. Like the transcripts is online, like you could read exactly what I said. Um, and Then they're like, "Oh no, well you actually make fun of sexual assault victims is your thing, and you're banned." And I'm like, what the fuck just happened here? I'm like, I've spent like the good part of like a month and a half thinking about that day on October 2nd and replaying the scenario in my head, and nowhere near did I do something like that. So that was frustrating for me. I was like, well, fuck you. I didn't do that. What the fuck are you fucking talking about? And I initially had the reaction that I was going to go try talking to them in person, but then I'm like, even if I do get some like sort of forgiveness and they start kissing my ass, I still wouldn't feel comfortable in the place. So there's like no remedy for me now at this point, and so I decided to protest because I'm like,
Sure.
look, you're doing me wrong here, and you're not going to do it in silence, So I fucking protest the following day on November 15th, and I do like a few hours and I leave, and then I show up on November 20th and do another. Actually that was my longest one. I was there for like 8 hours. I must have been like really annoying.
And you're
But
doing this in front of the club or on the sidewalk area?
well, I'm across the street. Um, and I'm just kind of on the curb of the street because there's no
Okay.
sidewalk there. But as long as you're not actually obstructing traffic, the flow of traffic, like I was a foot into the road.
Sure.
but like it's a shitty side street and it's actually surrounded by a bunch of houses. Like this is in the middle of a residential area.
Okay.
And
Wow, that's kind of different. Yeah, I have it pictured as like a downtown main area, but
actually across the street there's a church over there that
that's
like
interesting.
yeah, well, both places are churches. It's just the one church was converted into a sex club, and
Okay.
then above it is another business that like is like some international dance club
Okay.
thing, and then across the street is the church, you know, and then there's like some residential places down the road. But
Interesting.
yeah, it's pretty
Not
much in a
what you would
residential
expect.
area. There's just this little section that had initially a couple churches, and one of them was converted, while the other one is still like I think a church, and there's still people attending it and whatnot. And that's cool. I'm kind of like on their side though. I had a nice couple that last day that I protested. There was this nice older couple that drove up in their vehicle, and the wife in the passenger seat was reading off my protest signs to the husband that was driving. And then when they were done reading it, they gave me a friendly wave and drove off. They're probably, part of they probably thought that I was protesting the church, is what I, think now. I think
Okay. That's unfortunate.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But then they read and heard me out and saw my little signs and noticed that I'm protesting the other place across the street. Then they were just like, oh well, hello, and then they just drove off, gave me a nice wave. I gave them a nice wave back. In fact, I rarely use my middle finger at this place.
Sure.
I'm usually just like kind of just waving at cars, whether they're coming or going, so just kind of like doing my peaceful protests.
Well, that's
And
what it
that,
sounds like. You're not doing anything obscene or doing obscene gestures. You're in a public place doing a peaceful protest.
well, I'm allowed my finger flicking, but I reserve that for, times when I need it.
Sure.
But then that was enough for the dude to file a false restraining order against me to stop my protests.
Right.
And that was he filed it on the 21st of November, but it wasn't served to me till the 23rd of November. And then I just kind of that battle just culminated last week, 6 days ago on Monday, the January 31st, and I got the case dismissed with prejudice, bitches.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. Congratulations on that. It's a
Yeah,
shame it took
usually
so long, right? To work its way through the
it,
court system.
well, it did, and I asked for like a couple delays. There was an initial delay after the hearing after mediation, and I just kind of was, part of it was just kind of making our way through winter here. I am protesting outside your business, and it can get cold outside. And although I could endure the cold, I just, as many days as we could, get rid of, just kind of skip past winter here. It ain't no big deal, whatever. I'll get out there, and then now recently, because I did just win, but now like I need to save money for this move that I'm doing. I'm moving later on this month, or at the end of the month, or the beginning of next. I need to talk to my landlord tomorrow about these details.
Right,
So
right.
I don't even know what's going on yet, but it's like I only have a certain amount of money, and half of that is spent already on my bills, and it's like I got to pay these expensive fees and then get a moving truck, and it's like I don't even know if I could actually buy another pack of cigarettes, so they might have lucked out for February because I'm
Yeah.
just so broke I can't even afford hot hands and just like the bus fare. I can't even afford like $10 to show up. Like
Well, it's the same thing that happened with that Occupy Wall Street movement once the winter months came. It sort of fizzled out by default. Uh, no one wants to be out in the cold with this, right? But
well, no, that was a little bit more. I think that was more nefarious than people were out there. People would be out there in the cold, if they have the ability to do so. I mean, like I grew up outside of Chicago. You
oh,
don't
you're
think I
used
can
to it
handle
then.
the cold like out
Yeah.
these like winters are so mild. But I don't have anything to prove to them. It was just like I got wrongfully sent to jail a few times, and then like in jail, people like encourage you, like not everyone, but there are those people that encourage you to fight someone else to try to prove something. And
Sure.
the only
Yeah.
thing you'll be proving is that you're a fucking idiot, or stupid. How dare I say that word? I know. Because you'll just be spending more time in jail, hanging around a bunch of other dudes, taking shits in front of them. Like it's like, no, I want to be a good little boy, and I don't really care what you motherfuckers think of me. And that seemed to have worked every time I was in jail, though.
So you
I'm
think
sorry.
you'll gonna go back to doing this peaceful protest then? It
Yeah,
sounds
when
like
I
it's
can
not something
afford
you're
it,
giving up
so I
on.
don't I don't know, maybe I could work something out tomorrow with them, and they're like, you could owe us, you can make the payment in 3 months or something like that, and we could split up this fee in 3 months or 2 months, or maybe not, and I'll just have to do it in 1 month. But
Right, right.
so I'm just kind of, I might be able to protest later on this month, but I need to figure out my money situation from mommy and daddy first.
Yes.
You know?
It's certainly never cheap moving. It's amazing how many little bills have popped up and everyone holds out their hand for more money. It's a very expensive process.
Yeah, yeah, and oh man, I shouldn't be a smoker now, but I am, you know,
How much is a pack of cigarettes by you these days?
like $8.50.
Well, that's not too bad. What kind of cigarettes do
Yeah,
you prefer?
whatever's cheap and doesn't smoke really quickly.
Sure.
So it's usually like some Camels is what I've been buying lately.
Okay, then name brand. Under $10 for name brand. That's not bad.
Yeah, I guess it's getting up to Chicago prices. It's like it's such a regressive tax. That's why I don't like it. They're like, well, people just they're like, well, that single mother that works that one or two jobs, we're protecting her by making them so expensive. She won't
Yeah.
be able to afford a pack of cigarettes, and it's like that sounds totally fucked up to me. Like, wait a second, did you just say what I think you just said? Like, you're happy that she can't afford a pack of cigarettes because they're too expensive.
Yeah, I've never understood that
That's
mindset of doing
fucked
it that
up.
way. Because you're gonna smoke them. If it's an hour of working and minimum wage is 3 hours, you're still gonna buy the goddamn pack.
Yeah, yeah. What you're saying is like you're like, yeah, let's bleed the people that like really struggle with money.
Yeah,
Let,
let's
let
let's
let's
hurt them
let's
more.
bleed them all a little bit more, guys. Right? That's
Exactly.
acceptable. And then the propaganda in America is like, well, like the rich person, he deserves that money. He deserves that. Like I have neighbors that argue me, this shit. And they're like, well, yeah, they deserve that $250 billion. And it's like, really? I mean, they've worked 1.5 million times harder than you ever did in your life or anyone in general.
I would have a hard time saying deserve. I don't think that'd be the proper way to say that. No one deserves that much money. So much money that you could never in a lifetime spend that much money. Unless you're buying countries.
And then they fucking are able to breed and everything and pass off their psychopath traits to their offspring,
Yeah,
So then we have like a society that normally, if didn't have all this unfairness and everything going on for generations and centuries, there'll probably be like less than 1% of the population that are psychopaths. But now, with this corruption and it's been going on for generations and a long time, there's like a significant portion of the population, like add an extra zero to that now. Instead of 1%, it's 10% of the population are psychopaths. And these are the results. And then we have a bunch of homeless across America, always punching downwards, no matter what, even with the taxes. You think those, few extra dollars per pack hurts a rich person? Or does that hurt that, maybe single family, or
absolutely.
maybe they're a couple. It doesn't matter. It still hurts. It's like suddenly $20 doesn't get you a half a carton anymore. Now it's getting you 2 packs. That makes a difference.
Yeah, I remember those days when I first started smoking. It was some shit brand of cigarettes, but $11, $12 a carton, 200 cigarettes for $12. I can't get a half a pack for $12 now.
Oh wow, it's the same out in Canada, huh?
Yeah, they raised it again January 1st, so it's about 22.50 for a pack right now.
Jesus.
Yeah, I had to give it up and try vaping. It does the job. The price is right on it. Um, and
Yeah,
mind
until
you,
they
for
fuck around with that, and then they're like, oh, there's all these people vaping. Looks like we gotta have a tax.
that's what they started here a couple of years ago. They keep raising the taxes on vaping, but the main problem is where I live is they've gotten rid of the flavored vapes, so you can only have the tobacco flavor. Um, you're not
Oh,
allowed any of
that's
the fruity
stupid.
shit, so
Yeah,
it's
like kids are still gonna do it, like because of they're just addicted to it. Like I was a kid and I smoked cigarettes. It wasn't because it was like bubble gum flavor or whatever. They had nothing. The flavor had
no,
nothing to do with it.
no, and there are plenty of ways to get around getting flavored vapes. You can order it online if the shopkeeper knows you or realizes you're not going to rat them out. They have tons of supplies of any flavor that you want. So it's just a way for the government to fuck you over again.
Yeah, well, and to waste people's time and to punch downward, get people because there's like no like, although there's probably some bitching about it, but like it happens. It's something that happens, and it's something that like there's propaganda out there that gets people on board. They're like, well, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. I think Susie up the road, that's a single mother of two, struggling to buy a pack of cigarettes, sounds like a good idea. Like
But she's still going to buy them.
yeah, but she's still
You're
going to
hurting
buy
her
them,
more.
right?
It's not going to keep her from buying. It's going to slow her down. She's not
But
going to smoke a
then
pack
there's
a day, but she's
talk
still
like
going to buy them.
whenever you want to take some from the rich people, they're like, well, they deserve it, and they earned it, or whatever, blah 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 blah. The system sucks, but it is what it is, and then nothing ever happens, and if something happens, just like I don't even know recall the details, although I remember what Biden wanted to do, and Trump took like the tax rate down like from like 36% down to like 20, or maybe it was closer to the low 30s. I
Yeah, I
forget
want to say it's
the actual.
23. It's the
Yeah,
average corporate rate or something. It's about 15% drop on it.
I think like from 35 or 34% to like 20%, and then
Okay.
Biden is like, all right, well let's raise that to 28%, and it's like, dude, they're still saving like 7%,
Yeah, that's the
7 or 8.
shocking thing. He wasn't putting it back to what it was before the Trump tax cut. He's trying to meet somewhere in the middle, and they're still freaking. If
Yeah,
he
exactly.
announced a 1% raise, they would have freaked. It's the ironic thing. No matter what, they're going to freak.
Well, no, no, no. It's still, well, they pretend to freak and everything, but they know they got a break with that 20% that wasn't going to last. But it's this race to the bottom that we're fucking, going through, and the Democrats are like, okay, I'll compromise, and the Republicans never compromise. So it's
No.
always like fucking like moving, to the fucking left, um, or to the right. Sorry, yeah, all right, yeah, this
Yeah,
way.
I always find it funny that the Republicans are trying to say Biden's this communist and Biden's a socialist. Like, motherfucker, if you look at other countries, uh, your idea of Democrats in the States is far, far more conservative than a conservative party in anywhere in Europe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're like, it's the illusion of like Democrat and Republican. It's like they're both Republicans, and I don't even like they're
Absolutely.
not even Republican light to me. It's just like they're Republican, and the other Republicans are just more far, right than their other Republican counterparts
Batshit
there.
crazy far right at this point. Complete corporatists, or you have the batshit crazies, your Marjorie Taylor Greens, your Sarah Palins. It's fuck even Trump.
Well, we
I mean,
have we
it's
have ours in the progressive side too. I'm not too happy with the fucking so-called progressives in the that, oh, let's be part of the Democrat Party, and then they become they become part of the Democrat Party, and then the Democrats, the establishment ones, they're like, all right, progressive, we definitely want to do something for you, but you got to vote for this other thing for us, and then we'll do that thing that you wanted to do. And then that happens, and then the establishment Dems are like, well, that thing that you wanted to do, you go fuck yourself,
Yeah, they're not getting a goddamn
and
thing
talk
done.
about something else. Talk about something else, otherwise we'll cut your funding. And they get them to play ball and to get in line. And I've seen all of them spayed and neutered. Not to sound like Bob Barker.
No, but the Democrats aren't getting anything done. It's unfortunate. They're getting blamed for not
I
getting
feel
anything done now. It's
that could be like a commercial. That could be like, is your politician spayed or neutered yet? Probably, like because of corruption. So
yeah,
that's
it's a
been
race.
disappointing.
Like you said, it's a race towards the bottom. It's getting worse, and there's no end in sight.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I was really proud of those truckers for applying a lot of uncomfortable pressure on Canada there. I forget exactly. I think they were going to hit every province and then head to the capital. Am I misremembering?
Yeah, that's essentially what they're doing. They started out west, and they're headed towards Ottawa, or they're in Ottawa now. They did a bit of a convoy. I'm trying to stay away from the issue because at its core it bothers me that they're protesting simple COVID restrictions or a vaccine mandate, if you will. It's such a small percentage of truckers that feel this
I know,
way.
but most of them they got some good points if you listen to them. Most of them are already vaccinated. But the thing that didn't make sense about this COVID thing, and it took a little bit of, like, because I was under the impression that there would be like, like if you get this vaccine, there's a 70% chance you won't get COVID. It's not like that though. So you could still get the vaccine and you could still get COVID. In fact, I had COVID at the beginning of the year from January 3rd to January 5th. I was sick. And it was really quick for me, just like Joe Rogan, although I wasn't taking any supplements or anything. Well, I'm taking a vitamin D supplement because I
Yeah,
just don't
just
get a lot of sunlight.
be careful what you say. YouTube really hates any of this kind of discussion. It's amazing how
Oh,
many
oh,
small.
sorry.
Oh,
Well,
it's okay. I
I
just
mean,
kind of want to throw that out there.
yeah, yeah,
Even on
yeah. Well,
the
no, yeah, I'm not giving any
goddamn
medical advice. I'm just
podcast,
saying,
got
like, I
flagged
was
for
sick for 2 days. Joe
sure.
Rogan was sick for 2 days. He was taking all this shit. And aside from my vitamin D supplements and a multivitamin that I just take because I don't get a lot of sunlight, and especially in this part of America next to the mountain. Um, so like I went to my doctor. I got my blood, drawn, and they did like lab work and everything. And they're like, yeah, you're really, really low on vitamin D. And this was like a few months ago during the
Okay.
fall time. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll take some vitamin D. And so that's why I'm taking it. Nothing to do with COVID, but
No.
just to be fair, that's the only shit that I'm taking aside from my normal RXs. Um, and I was sick just for a couple days, and that's probably mostly how my body is set up and my immune system is, not because I'm like taking pills or anything like that. Um, I did get the vaccine, the Pfizer one, and the first booster. I
So you're
was,
2 shots in.
yeah. Well, to keep on getting shots, man. Like this don't make sense, man. Like the fucking polio vaccine. There was like when people got vaccinated, they weren't able to spread it. So
Right.
this vaccine really seems crappy to me. Just like seems like it was too rushed, and people just want to cash in on, you know, here's another shot. Ooh, the government's giving us money for this. Oh, we're making money. It's like, a fucking money tree, and I don't think it's, yeah, the getting the vaccine and still being able to spread it, that's really fucked up, man. That doesn't sound like a good vaccine to me because there's like polio and hepatitis and actually like vaccines that actually do things, but And maybe it made my thing less severe. Maybe it made it less severe, and that's why I, was just sick for 2 days. But I was still contagious. I still could have spread it to people. Maybe I did. And I don't know who they
It
were.
would be hard to tell, surely. How do you feel that there's variants to this virus? So the vaccine that you took, that you received, is specific to a certain strain of COVID. And now that there's
Well,
variants, it's not recognizing that or striking a immune response.
this is not to say that there aren't severe cases or people. This isn't something to take seriously. It is, but I just think like as time is going on, the data is starting to show that although the virus is getting more contagious, the symptoms are getting less severe. And not saying that there aren't cases that aren't severe. There's just fewer of those cases. Um, and I totally am stonering
Well,
out
here's a
right
question
now.
I'll give you then. In regards to the truckers and why I have an issue with the truckers. So I used to be a sailor before my accident. And every 2 years I had to, same as the truckers, get licensed through Transport Canada to be a sailor. Same with the truckers, need a license through Transport Canada. So there's every 2 years you have to go in for a medical exam. They'll piss test you, draw blood, check your vision, stuff like that. So you have to meet a certain criteria with that to get the license. Also with truckers, there's a certain amount of hours they're allowed to run versus sleep and logbooks they have to keep. So it certainly falls in line with the COVID vaccine, that you would have to get this. I feel
Well,
like I'm kind of wandering around on this topic a little bit, but it feels like they got plenty more to protest than this one specific issue.
look. I understand that, but they're just truckers, and most of them are already taking the vaccine anyway. I think the number is like 85% of them. So many of them have already taken it. Then why are you forcing this, on people? And that's a fair point because, like, I just don't. This vaccine seems really mild, like you go to buy some salsa and the other vaccines for the other shit, everything but COVID. All right, just like drop COVID out of this. You've taken vaccines for other shit, right? Because you're a sailor.
Yeah,
That shit
exactly. So
actually
if you take something
works.
like measles, the MMR
Yes.
vaccine, it's going to work, right? There's a very high percentage of efficacy on that. But the problem with
Yeah.
COVID is that there's different variants. So with this mRNA vaccine, very specific to how it's registering for an immune response, right? It's looking for that specific spike protein. So when the virus mutates and that spike protein changes, your body's not going to recognize it.
Yeah.
So it's just going to
Yeah.
have to be an update, right? They can't keep giving you original COVID,
I
the
mean,
OG flavored vaccine, and expecting it's worked with Omicron and every other different
Fauci
variant.
said that with this new Omicron variant, that pretty much everyone is going to get it at this point. And
Right. It's not doing much for an immune response, right? It might be helping with the death rate or the serious infections from everything I've seen, but it's certainly people that are double or triple vaccinated are still getting it.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And so how effective is the vaccine really? I mean, and a lot of these people, like, and I'm not saying you got to listen to these specific people, but and I don't even watch Joe Rogan, but I think Joe Rogan, he got the vaccine, and same with Jimmy Dore, he got the vaccine, but they're just making these points. It's like, look, you're still able to spread this at an extremely high rate. And just a little aside, let's just skip wait to something that Remember hearing about junk DNA? There's a lot of junk DNA in the human genome, and the reason for that is actually because of viruses. They're old,
Yes.
ancient viruses that our ancestors, got infected with.
It's mutated
Viruses,
our DNA, and it's a lingering effect.
yeah, actually, like disabling some of these viruses will affect I think they did it in mice or rats. The fetus development, it won't develop properly,
Right.
um, and
We start
uh,
turning things off.
and so we need to find like as this thing is getting more infectious, the cases are becoming less severe, and I'm sorry if it has affected someone in your life in a severe way. um I'm not saying that that didn't happen. That happened, and it sucks, and the America, I suspect, is responsible. um and it's just like we need to find this kind of like a virus doesn't really thrive if it just kills off its host. So we need to
Right.
have
There's
like kind of
definitely a
like
symbiotic
a relationship
relationship.
that nobody fucking asked
Yes.
for. Nobody wanted this shit, but here we are anyway. And maybe hopefully, in a decade or so, we could have like a better relationship with COVID than we currently do. It's kind of hitting the human population really hard. Um, you know, but uh,
There's
but
a happy
yeah,
middle ground to be found from your one extreme of lock everything down and restrict where you can go inside your bubble and saying it's over, reopen business as usual. There needs to be more shades of gray in between and find a
well,
system that works.
there like what I'm doing here. Like this is pretty much the only thing we can do is just wear masks. Just wear masks. Try to
Absolutely.
keep your germs to yourself. Make sure you're self-aware of things that you're touching and washing your hands afterwards to avoid germs. But other than that, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Whether it takes a couple years to infect everybody, or maybe 5 years or a decade, everybody's going to get sick with this.
It's definitely
And
changed society
that
in the way
sucks.
that
That
we
sucks.
think about germs, cleanliness. I've quite enjoyed since COVID started, not getting sick with just a cold or flu. Fuck, I was getting pneumonia all the time, right? Because my injury and shit, because I'm pretty sedentary. So it's nice that we're cleaning up the world in a way by everyone wearing a mask.
Well, being self-conscious about our germs, like being self-aware, is a discussion that half of Americans seem to want to have, and the other half is like, "Fuck you," So, but the rest of the world, I think, is doing better than we are on that.
Unfortunately,
Um,
so yeah, Americans really have to make it such a political issue, a political divide, and hatred towards it.
yeah, yeah,
If you
it's
don't
it's
believe
really
what
like
I
the whole
believe,
mask thing was
fuck you and
totally
die.
politicized, in the beginning by Trump, and that was some bullshit. I think. Hang on a second, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna, I need to
No,
pick
yeah.
my nose.
Sure, yeah, just let me know at any point. I can shut the camera off, or if you want to just cover it up,
I
that's
don't
fine.
I don't know how to change the image or something. But I'll figure that shit out later anyway.
Yeah, no
Um,
worries.
but I'm still here. I'm still here. Okay.
Yeah, no worries. I spent a few minutes trying to put up this design. We talked about that over the
I
weekend
know. I'm
there, and
sorry. I'm a
oh yeah,
bad
nothing to
person.
apologize there. I don't have Photoshop on here, and there's very few programs that are on a just hooked into the Mac OS software.
Can't
MS
you
Paint's
run
a.
fucking PC software too?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Can't you run PC software? Don't they
Yeah,
have
so
like an emulator
I have it
for?
exactly. It's a virtual Windows 10 I have on here. It'll start right into Windows 10, but it's not optimized for the hardware that's built into it. So by default, I'm using a shit ton of resources just to run it virtually.
Yeah. Well, there's Paint.net for it's some open source
Mm.
software. It's free, and it's nice. It's what I use when I need to mess around with the photo. But I haven't done any like Adobe, Photoshop, Premiere. Do they even like? Is that even a thing anymore? Do they call it something else?
No, I think it's
And
still Photoshop.
Flash.
Flash is gone, but
Yeah.
no, Photoshop still exists. They've rebranded a bit, changed icons, changed. I don't think the name's
Well,
changed.
well, no, no, no. Premiere. I think Premiere changed to something too, like a few years back. I don't
Okay,
know.
yeah, and
I
it's been
don't
a few years
keep
since I've
track of it.
touched it. It's
I don't keep.
unfortunate though. They constantly change it just enough. Something like AutoCAD. Once you get used to where everything's laid out on it and you have your setup, they'll fucking drop
Yeah.
an update to it that just moves everything around, fucks everything right up.
Yeah, my dad used to use AutoCAD a lot. He was an architect.
Okay, yeah, great software, but man, you can spend years just learning shortcuts and hotkeys for it, and powerful software, but there's a lot to it.
Oh yeah, yeah, there is a lot. Yeah, my dad was like a fucking like like an artist, like with the art palette with all the colors splotched on it.
Okay,
Um, he was very good. He had this like little. I called it a tablet. He called it a tablet. Like, but it was like a thing that had like a pen and it worked like a mouse on this board to like move the mouse and
oh,
shit. It
like a
was like
drawing
another
tablet.
external thing, but there was like a pad, and then there was like a cord with like a pen that he could like
Sure.
you could like press and click or hit the button on the side and shit, and it was pretty impressive. And then there like on that board, it was like 100 keys or more or something
Mm.
like that. It was crazy.
Yeah,
You
that's
could
what I
put
have
like
on the
this overlay
iPad.
on it, like underneath this piece of plastic. Sorry.
I have the iPad Pro, and then with that, I have a couple of different Apple Pencils, and same idea. I'm drawing
Yeah.
on it. It's just a very expensive stylus, but if you're into artwork and you're okay with that kind of stuff, it's amazing what it can do. It's a lot more than just a stylus. That's just like, if you have it on paintbrush or something, it's more than just dragging a cursor around.
It's just a little hard for me to get into something that I'm just not into, like make an overlay for the podcast, and I'm like,
Sure.
I'm like thinking more like I would like to make a map for Battlefield 2142 that it's this game that I frequently play, and I was thinking
Okay.
about making like a Pandora map, but I'll need to like model out all these like rocks to make floating in the air and shit, and I don't know if I can make like a waterfall rock. I don't know what effects the 2142 engine could handle. It doesn't seem like I can on the surface, but maybe if I dug a little, I could make like an illusion of water falling or something. But anyway,
What
I was
did you
thinking
say this game
like
is
I'm like,
called?
man, I should make this map. Like I'm way more like interested in like getting into that.
What was the name of this game? I'm not much into
Battle.
games, so.
Well, yeah, it's an older first-person shooter. Like it was released, I think, in 2006, and they made like their final update in like 2009. And
Okay.
then when did the GameSpy servers shut down? Like in 2014 or 2015, somewhere around there.
Right.
Like, and this game used the GameSpy servers to like redirect people to the actual servers. So now when you open up the game, you got to open it up in this hub, and it redirects the servers to like OpenSpy nowadays. It's instead of GameSpy, it's OpenSpy. But that means like any copy of the game will work though too. So you could just like grab any copy of the game that you want, grab this 2142 Hub 2, it's called. They just did an update a few months back from the first hub to the second hub, and it is better. The newer hub is better. So do 2142 hub, and then any copy of Battlefield 2142, really. And it seems like EA's just kind of forgotten about it. But if they did make a newer version of it, it would kind of disappoint me because they have this EA subscription bullshit now, where I'll need to like pay to keep my soldier, rank and everything like that. Not that I
Right.
really care about that stuff, but if I like lose items or whatever, like these little upgrade things to my soldier, then that would be annoying, I guess. And anyway, I just hate the thought of paying $5 or $10 a month just to play a game. I'm kind of like old school about it. Like I grew up with ColecoVision,
Yeah. Yeah,
Atari, and
once you buy it,
Nintendo,
you
and that
have it.
shit. Like you buy a game, that's that.
Absolutely.
Even with the DLC kind of annoys me a little bit, but at least for like Borderlands 2 had awesome DLC, and they had like four different DLCs, and it like really expanded the game a lot. Their pre-sequel DLC sucked. And I haven't really checked out Borderlands 3 DLC. But anyway, it's a little annoying, but it's okay. It's acceptable. I'll accept it. Fine,
Hmm.
whatever. But the pay to be good games or the pay not to wait, like on the mobile, like the app games. Oh man, those are like all pay to like be good games. I hate that. That's so annoying.
Yeah, with your microtransactions and having to buy all the shit for your character, right? It's amazing how
Mm-hmm.
much that costs and
But
how fast that will add up.
we'll pay not to wait too, because they always have a time limit. It's like, oh, well, you could upgrade this thing to its last form, but it's going to take 2 weeks, or you could give us $20 right now, and it's like,
Okay, I'm not familiar with that. I'm
well, it's not.
absolutely not into any games, so
It's not really like $20. It's like, well, you give us, it's the high currency in the game, like diamonds. Will you give us like 200 diamonds, and then, and you could buy 200 diamonds for $20. You
right.
know, yeah, I hate that stuff. Like it is so annoying, and that's pretty much what I had access to when I was homeless, like on the road. Um, so I got this little gaming laptop, and I mostly have fun when I'm playing the game. Sometimes I'm getting my ass kicked and I'm in a shitty mood. But yeah, I have fun most of the time, and it's fun to play actual fucking games. I would like to have a
Sure.
TV with like some Nintendo or Super Nintendo shit on it, but whatever, we don't all get what we want.
Well, a lot of that stuff has come down in price. If you know how to do any of those Raspberry Pis, stuff like that, right, to run a bunch of emulated games on it,
Yeah, well, they
under a
have the
hundred
USB
dollars.
flash sticks that plug right into the HDMI on TVs like nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. With all the old Nintendo and Super Nintendo games, that's the kind of shit I'm into. I love that kind of stuff. I enjoy watching other people play stuff. God, I can't think of the name of the game. Came out Christmas 2020. Not Red Dead Redemption. Cyberpunk.
Oh
Looks
yeah.
cool as fuck, right? I really enjoyed watching some people online play that, and some friends play that, but never ever could get into that on my own or play that. But you give me something like Super Mario or Mario Kart, that's my shit.
Yeah, I do want to get Cyberpunk eventually. It's just like a money issue. It's like, and whenever it's on sale for like $35 or something, I just, sorry. Whenever it's on sale for like $35 or something, it's like I don't have the $35 for it,
Mm-hmm.
so then I just let the sale go on by. It's not a high priority. It's like I got like 100 things I want to buy, and I can only buy like two of them like every month.
Sure. No, it's a very expensive thing to be into with the gaming, right? And then if you're really into it and you have to get a certain controller and your whole setup for that stuff, it's not cheap.
Yeah, well, controller is good for games like Super Mario Brothers was like awesome with the controller, especially like the side-scrolling ones, and how they did it in the Wii was really cool. But there's some other games like keyboard and mouse, and that's like
Yeah.
specifically, I guess, towards first-person shooters. Like I cannot do that shit on a controller at all. Like I'm very happy that some people are kind of used to the controller. I just, man, I can't do that.
No, I have a
W,
hard time with that as well. I have a lot of nerve damage in my hands because from my injury, what happened with my back. So anything that involves a keyboard, I
yeah,
just can't
right.
do
You
it.
injured yourself masturbating.
Yeah, exactly. It's a permanent claw my hand stuck in, but
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. Have
it's all good.
have you ever tried like, getting used to a mouse with your foot?
No, I fucked around with surprisingly. built in again with Mac OS, they have a thing that'll eye track you and move the cursor around, move the mouse around with your eyes. Pretty interesting stuff. If you want to be really lazy and have the computer set up across the room, you don't have to do shit. But I haven't tried it with my foot. No.
Yeah, but most games I would have to say is good with the controller. Like there's those fighting games, or although you might want the arcade stick for that, if you're like super hardcore. But like the fighting
Absolutely.
games are good, like Pac-Man, all sorts of games. The Mario Brothers always comes to mind. The Zelda games, um, especially the older ones. The like the weird the first two for Nintendo, they had like the top view and then the side scrolling one. And then they went with the top view again with the Super Nintendo and then the Game Boy with the Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
I grew up on that shit.
Me too. That always give me a hard time with my head. I don't know if there's a little bit of like epilepsy or something when I was a child, so I wasn't able to play too much of Zelda. That always fucked me up, but I was fine with like Super Mario's and stuff. That was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, the Super Mario World is always like, going to be a fun one. I think they have like, they've re-released that one so many times. But they update the graphics or whatever, kind of make things look a little prettier.
Yeah, they shine it up.
Whatever.
I always
Well,
liked the Wii. That was a good system. I liked the controllers for the Wii. Good layout. Good catalog of games. Again, they cleaned up the old games. Your old Mario's and Mario Kart looked really good on it. Played well.
yeah, I didn't get I got probably halfway through the new Super Mario Brothers. But yeah, I ended up like hacking my Wii and attaching a hard drive to it and running games off the hard
Okay,
drive.
nice. I've tried that before
Dude,
as well. I tried to hack the Wii to be able to boot off a SD card for a bunch of old
yeah, the letter
games.
bomb hack, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't have a card reader built into my laptop, so I was using this USB card reader and just wouldn't copy over right, so I couldn't get it to work.
Oh man,
Yeah, I tried that for
that's
days. That fucking project trying to get it to work. Finally, just gave up on her.
yeah, and only a 2 GB SD card too. It can't be like bigger.
Yeah, I waste the entire day because I think it's like a 4 or 6 gig card, and I finally read somewhere it has to be a 2. So it was like
Yeah.
fucking complete day of working on it wasted.
I initially bought my Wii to like help my grandmother with her hand-eye coordination and kind of just get some
Okay,
neurons firing and everything.
sure.
And then after like a really long time of trying to get her to learn the Wii bowling game and
Mm-hmm.
failing, I was just like, I gave up. And
Yeah, there were some cool sports games like that. The bowling, the golf,
yeah,
tennis. There's some cool shit with that.
like the bowling one was like, you point and click, and then
Mm-hmm.
you had the one button trigger button underneath, and that was like it for the bowling. And then you had the strap around your hand, so it doesn't matter, like you might drop it or something, but
Yeah.
it's dangling, in your hand and everything, right? And yeah, I just couldn't get her to understand it, and I just gave up after a while. It was kind of a really depressing time for me.
Oh,
And
that's
so
unfortunate.
I have my moments where I give up.
Yeah, they had to put that lanyard on the controller shortly after the system was released because a bunch of kids were throwing the fucking remote into the TV without the
Oh,
lanyard around the wrist, right? So there are fucking pictures all over
I
the internet of busted
I
up
never heard
plasma
that.
TVs
I
and
didn't know that.
yeah,
Uh,
that's why it has
that
that thing on there. Is kids are just biffing the fucking controller through the TV.
I thought that they would have, realized, like, like you got this controller that you're going to now be swinging around.
Yeah, but kids are fucking disgusting, man. Their hands are always fucking greasy and
I'm
shitty and
exactly
sticky and
like this is
it's
not going to
fucking
slip out of someone's hand when they're, like going like this, and then it fucking hits the TV. Maybe it hits it lightly, but
yeah.
the screen is damaged now, and which pretty much fucks the whole thing off.
Yeah, well,
Like,
not only did they put a lanyard to go around your hand so you wouldn't, but they also started including the case that goes around the controller. So if you did throw it at the
oh yeah,
TV,
the
it's a
rubber
soft,
casing, yeah.
yeah, and then bounce off the TV.
Yeah, yeah. Well, or They're like, yeah, well, I mean, obviously capitalism. It's like let's make money off this. Like, let's sell something with our to go with our bad design, and let's call it a little protection thing. All right, it's going to be
Yeah.
a little squishier, rubbier stuff, and we could have already probably put that stuff on the controller initially, but we done forgot. But our
Yeah, it
mistake
cost them 30
is our
cents.
profits. Like.
Yeah. Those TVs are incredibly fragile, though. I had a friend of mine last summer. He bought a TV off Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace or something,
Yeah.
and he met the fellow at a gas station. He had in the back seat of his SUV, and my friend had an SUV, and he was taking the TV out, and he just tapped it on the door frame, putting the TV in. Not a big deal, he was looking at the TV first before he paid for it. Perfectly fine. Looked fine in the car. Get inside, and the fucking screen shattered, right? And all he can figure is when he tapped it there just on the door, it fucking shattered the entire screen.
Yeah. Yeah, they are fragile.
Just fucking
It,
like toilet
it,
paper.
I always like get like some cardboard, or if I could like wedge it, somewhere where it just, yeah, you gotta watch it with these
This new
flat
shit,
screens.
it's not built like it used to be. I still have, I think it was 2000 or 2001, I bought a 34-inch old school CRTV, right? It was like
Yeah.
$600 for the goddamn thing. Still fucking have it. It's moved all over the fucking world with me, and that thing is a goddamn tank. You could drop
Yeah.
the shit out of that. I've dropped water in it. It lived outside in a fucking greenhouse for 2 years. Got covered in fucking dirt. Doesn't matter. Can't hurt that thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, those things are way heavier too. Like
Oh my god,
sometimes,
yeah.
like if
It's
it's
about
too
100
big, you
pounds.
got to get like an extra person to help you lift it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. They're fucking beasts.
Yeah, like if I offered you a new place to move to, one thing that you'll probably dread moving is that TV.
Oh, fucking right. Yeah, that if I ever have to leave this house, that TV gets left here. This just ain't no moving that. Can't put it in the car. I can't lift it myself. The fucking dinosaur.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, fuck. I really enjoyed that Wii.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened to it. I think I lost it during my my time being homeless and everything.
You can
Or
find them online now,
not the
really
TV,
cheap.
the Wii, the.
The Facebook. I don't know if you guys have that. I assume you guys have that down there. Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I deleted my Facebook. I don't really use Facebook anymore.
No, me either. I
Um,
just use it strictly for looking at the buy and sell section.
it
But I've
sounds like I
seen
need to have a Facebook to look at the Facebook Marketplace.
it's fantastic, man. I see Wii's on there all the time, anywhere from 10, 20,
Oh,
25 dollars at the most.
I'll get one eventually. I mean, it's not really a big priority, and I'd rather have some old school shit. Maybe check
Mm-hmm.
out some of that, like the flash drive looking shit that plugs into the HDMI and can take an SD slot, and then there's a wireless controller that syncs up with it.
Yep. When you're playing old games like that, right? It doesn't matter. The graphics are going to be fucking way better than they were 30 years ago anyway. So
Yeah, it blows my mind, like all these little like the ColecoVision was so heavy, and the angry video game nerd totally got that shit right with the fucking AC adapter of the ColecoVision.
right, the
Like
big
that
ass
shit would
fucking wall
like
wart.
hang from the fucking outlet. Like
Yeah.
I would like plug it in, and it would like go in there, but it would like be pushed out a little bit because the prongs and just the weights in general, and it would just
Yeah.
like it's like, no, 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 stay in there so you could make the connection. And then, I mean, I must have maybe put like a flower pot next to it,
Oh
just
my
to kind
god.
of like stabilize it. But it would that big ass adapter. Eventually, we started just attaching an extension cord to the adapter,
Yeah, that's a
you
good
know,
idea. Wouldn't have to hang on the
and
wall. You just
just a
set it on the
basic
floor.
extension cord, not a power strip or anything.
Sure.
Just, yeah, it was a pain in the ass.
But then they fucked up to something like the Xbox 360. Oh no, I was thinking the Xbox 360 had the internal power supply, but it has that massive fucking power supply.
Oh, does it end with the box or does it end with the cord?
No, so it comes from your mains on the wall, then it's a huge power supply. I thought it was a built-in power supply, and that's why they were having the overheating issues with the 360, but I didn't. I was thinking of something else there. Might have been the
Oh, okay.
original Xbox, I think, had built-in power supply.
Well, I mean, I don't know too much about the Xbox.
No, me
I
either. I
uh,
don't have it. Just, friends and stuff that have had them.
I was like I actually like worked at GameStop,
Hmm.
Funkoland GameStop, back in the day. Back when they were still selling like Nintendo and Super Nintendo and all that shit, even
Oh,
regular
wow.
Game
Yeah, it
Boy.
was way back in the day then.
This was the PlayStation 2 was just coming out. This is the last I
Okay, so that's about
remember.
2000, 99, 2000.
Yeah,
I know it was before 9/11 when I got my PlayStation 2.
I was urging people to go with the Dreamcast and a ton of used games instead of a
Yeah.
fucking PlayStation 2 because I'd camped out for a
Hmm.
PlayStation 2 in the name of I guess capitalism, but it was the only time I ever camped out for like anything. And I got my PlayStation 2 and I was so disappointed with it. Like it was every single game that I bought, like I could like beat in a couple hours, and it's like, well, what the fuck? I could like go, and then Blockbuster was still around, and I was like, I could go to Blockbuster and rent a game for like $5 instead of
Right.
spending 50, $60 on a fucking game, and then I can return it after a few days, and that would definitely give me enough time to beat it within like 2 hours. Like Bouncer,
It was
I think it
real
was
hit and
like
miss.
Square's, thing, and that
Yeah.
was like 2 hours long.
Yeah, when I first got the PlayStation 2, about three games with it: Tekken Tag, um, Devil May Cry, the original one, and Alice in Wonderland. And fuck Alice in Wonderland, man. I tried and tried to fucking get into that game. Miserable fucking game. And it was like 70 fucking dollars, right?
Yeah.
Devil May Cry, that was an excellent fucking game. I love that one. That
Yeah,
was a
those
lot
are
of fun.
fun, and those are definitely fun with the controller. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know how you would keyboard and mouse that one exactly, but I remember playing that with the controller, and it was very nice. And the Resident Evil games, another controller
Mm.
game. Like most games are controllers, but I just had the one rule of thumb with first-person shooters, keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, the Dreamcast controller. That was a big fat fucking controller. Just didn't
I
feel
mean, it
right
was
in
the
the
same
hand.
size as the regular Sega Genesis controller. It's just it was
Yeah.
like taller. And then they had something weird where they had the cord coming out the bottom, but then a thing to like
It had a
loop it
loop
up,
back around the
to
top.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that design, they should have had the cord coming out the end of the controller. And they could have done that just like by re like whether it was
Absolutely.
coming out on the right side or the left side a bit. Like I think they wanted it even and everything coming out of the controller.
Mm.
But I like the VMUs, the visual
That
memory
was
units. Those were
interesting.
nice.
Yeah, yeah, I remember having that. It had some game. I think it was C-Man. And it was cool because you'd have to feed the little fucking character and shit all the time. So you had that
Yeah, I had
VMU, you
C-Man.
just take it with you, throw it in your pocket. It's like a little fucking one of those little keychain games and shit, right? So you could keep the little guy alive and stuff. It was
Yeah, they
interesting. It
had
was a
that
nice
for the
concept.
Sonic game or something. Like your little characters, you could, use it and then you feed it and everything. And
Yeah, yeah.
it was a little interesting. I thought it was cool for Code Veronica to like show the life bar on the fucking controller. Instead of bringing up the menu screen to see where your life was at.
Yeah, it was a really interesting concept. Nobody's done it since, before or after, right? It's
Yeah, I don't
very
think
unique
so.
to that.
Having a little, well, I mean, sorta. Like, I guess the Wii U, or the
Oh,
Nintendo
right.
Switch, the little portable thing,
Yeah,
that
the
has the
Switch and the
controllers on
Wii
the
U.
side. That's a
Yeah,
big ass screen.
right.
But you could. I think like nowadays we could allow like a small, tiny screen to display a little bit of information on, some controllers. But
I have a
um,
PlayStation
Power
4
Stone, Power
controller that
Stone.
I use with the Apple TV, and it's got some little fucking like touchpad that's in the middle, and I don't know what that does because I never had a PlayStation 4. They were trying to do something with that, but again, just a failed design that nobody really developed it.
Really? Really? They didn't really do anything with that?
I don't know. I don't have a PlayStation 4, and the touchpad doesn't work with the Apple TV, but the controller, everything else works with it.
I had the broadband Ethernet connection for the Dreamcast, and then I had
Oh,
that big
okay.
ass keyboard, like with the
Right.
controllers on the side. Oh wait, no,
Yes.
that was for. No, no, no. I think I did have one for Dreamcast as well. I had one for the GameCube that was like that, but I think there was a design like that for the Dreamcast
Oh, that's
as
interesting.
well, with the controller and the keyboard all in one.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Yeah,
took
because
up
it
two
came with the
ports
built-in
that
modem.
you plug it into two ports and shit. I played Phantasy Star Online a lot back then,
Okay.
and so it was helpful to have like the controller keyboard set up. And then they did like Phantasy Star 1 and 2 for GameCube, and then so I had the GameCube controller that was like that had it was like this big ass thing with fucking like the joysticks on the side and the keyboard in the middle. So you could just kind of like when you needed to type to someone, you just set it on your lap really quick and type and then pick it back up.
That's pretty handy. That's a nice setup.
Yeah, yeah, it was interesting. Like it was bulky, it looked a little silly, but it was like totally functional. Um, yeah, I miss
Functionality over
Dreamcast.
form.
The Power Stone I shouted to you, a few moments ago. You remember those?
No, what's that now?
The Power Stone games. It was like this weird 3D fighting game. This weird 3D environment, and in some of the
Oh,
levels, they were kind of like really interactive. Like you could go stand in this one spot, and it will take you in a secret room and kind of pop you out on the other end of the stage, or like the place will start catching on fire, and then suddenly it's a side-scrolling thing, and then you're fighting along this shit. And on top of that, there's like all these random items appearing, kind of like in Smash Brothers,
okay.
And it was really fun, and it was made by Capcom, and they have a bunch of games on Steam, but they don't have the fucking, and they even have like Dreamcast games on Steam, but they
Oh, is
don't
that
have
right?
Power Stone. It's like it was such an awesome game. They made Power Stone 1 and 2, and they were like really fun games
Mm-hmm.
when you would have little get-togethers or sleepovers with your friends or whatever. You remember Goldeneye for Nintendo 64?
Oh, that was the best fucking game.
This,
Oh, yeah.
this was like that, but for fighting, and it was like a
Mm-hmm.
four-player thing too.
Yeah, I
And
remember
it
a
was
buddy of
zoom out.
mine.
It was zoom out when you fucking like when your character started separating, kind of like in the new Super Mario Brothers. When you have
Yeah.
multiple players and it just zooms out to kind of keep track of everyone.
Okay. Yeah, I had the N64 and a buddy of mine had the Goldeneye cartridge, and man, he was always fucking coming over to my apartment to play that. I fucking loved playing that game with him.
Yeah,
That was a great, great
did
game.
you guys ever try like making like little like don't look at my side of the screen?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'd always be looking at someone else's side of the screen. You're looking where I was. But to upset that, you look straight down at the floor or something,
Right. Yeah.
or you look like you walk straight into a wall, so you just see the weird Nintendo 64 weird blurry image, and you know someone's looking at a wall, but where is it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, those were the days, man. Kids have it too
yeah.
good now.
Yeah,
Kids have it too good.
what do kids do nowadays? They got that. What is it like to Xbox 20 already? I don't even fucking know. And
Fuck, I
like
have no
PlayStation
clue.
5, is that like the newest one?
I think it is, yeah, PlayStation is nice because they keep it one, two, three, four, five. Xbox is, Series S, Series E. It's like, what the fuck model is this now?
Well,
Switch
yeah,
is pretty easy too, but
we got a different chip in there, and it's pretty much the same as the older one, but there's just a slight difference.
yeah, well, that's what they
So
do with
that's
the
Model G.
that's what they do with the Switch, right? The newest update to the Switch is they put in an OLED screen. Same
Really?
fucking processor, same everything, different screen. Jack the price up on it.
Well, how big is the screen
Same
difference
size.
there?
I want to say it's the
What?
same size. It might be a little bit bigger on the Switch, but they just changed it from an LCD to an OLED.
The OLED.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you get your true blacks and nice darks and more of a contrast ratio to it. It's clearly better, but same
Yeah, yeah,
hardware
my
inside.
black doesn't, go all the way black on my LED TV or monitor here, but oh well,
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, that's
you
how it is on
know.
my laptop. But then I bought the iPad Pro, so that has the individual. It's not quite an OLED screen because it doesn't emit its own light, but it has micro LEDs throughout behind, so you don't have just one backlight or a strip of backlights lighting the whole screen. So you get those nice dark blacks and more of a contrast between light and bright. It's quite nice.
Yeah, it just doesn't make that big of a difference. I mean, I'm sure I could tell there's a difference.
Yeah,
I just
sure.
don't know
Yeah.
how much of a difference that really makes with the whole gaming experience,
No, I suppose
but
not. Certainly on
good for
movies.
people that could afford it.
Yeah. It's great on movies. You notice the difference. It's really nice. Gaming,
Oh,
I guess you really
so
won't
wait,
notice.
are you saying that episode 2 of season 8 of Game of Thrones is going to be even harder to watch on this OLED?
That's what I heard. I gave up on like season 5 of that show, but everyone I know that watched that, they said that last season you just couldn't fucking see it. It's so dark.
Oh, look, I wasn't that, I understood the darkness and I actually watched it out like when I was living in a vehicle outside. So even for me to enjoy it, I had to wait for the sun to go down because I got a tablet and this
Mm,
this tablet, even when there's like a little bit of light outside and I have the fucking brightness like maxed out and everything,
you still couldn't see it.
yeah, it's still hard to see. So I needed to
Yeah.
wait till nighttime to watch it. I enjoy the show. Like events could happen at night, and the attack, happened at night, or it happened in the book. They wrote it in the script. I thought, yes, I can make fun of it. It was a little too dark, but um, it was a battle that took place at night.
It's
What
easier
more?
for the
I don't
CGI to
know.
have
I
the
don't know
dark.
what you people want from me.
It hides a lot of sins in the CGI to have it dark or foggy or rainy.
Yeah,
And I'm
makes it a
wondering if
little
they just
easier.
rush production of it.
Wait, what?
I'm wondering if they rushed the production of the
Oh yeah,
show or the
definitely.
budget
Oh,
might
that
have been
was
too low.
yeah, and just like the Amazing Atheist, totally had a good criticism, and like his criticism matched probably hundreds of thousands of other criticisms. But there was a nice pace throughout season one, two, three, four, five.
Yeah.
Seven gets a little hastened because I think they removed three of their usual episodes. I think they did 10 episodes a season up until season seven, where they did seven, and then season eight, where they did six.
Yeah. A
Um,
lot of shows are doing that now. A
yeah,
lot
I
of
don't.
shows are
What
following
the
that
fuck?
that
Have
model.
some more shows. Like if you're gonna finish off the series, like more, not less. What the fuck? Anyway, yeah, yeah, they totally and if you ever check out the pitch meetings, there's this dude on YouTube that does pitch meetings,
Yeah.
and he has
I know
the
that.
pitch meetings for Game of Thrones season eight, and
Yes.
the producer is like. The producer dude, the character that he's playing, he's like, you could have more time, really. You could have more time. And the screenwriter's like, no, 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 we got to rush this. We got to really rush this. And it's like, it's really funny the way he's doing it. It's like, dude, you should have. What the fuck? Like, have at least 7 episodes. Like, I don't even know if one extra episode would have even helped.
Well, I mean, that
But
was the standard is you had 25, 30 episodes per season. Right? Like 20 years ago, Simpsons would have 25,
well,
30 episodes per season.
back in the day,
Yeah. But even I just got done watching season 5 of Rick and Morty, and there's 11 episodes for that whole season. That's
really, yeah,
ridiculous how fucking short it is. Or South Park could do that, right? They're very chaotic uh, seasons that they do. They're short. There's no episodes now.
yeah. I haven't heard anything from them for a while. Are they even making episodes this year? Probably like, summertime. We'll probably start catching some, I
Yeah,
guess.
I know they have a contract with HBO, and they have a contract with, I want to say it's Peacock, but that doesn't sound right now that I say that. But there were a couple of South Park Pandemic special movies that they released December, a couple of months back. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Really entertaining, funny. There's so much they can do with that show. They have so many different characters that they can focus in on that it's not the same stale like how Simpsons have gone for the last 15 years. What's
Yeah.
Homer gonna do this episode? It's the same fucking thing every episode, from episode to episode.
Yeah, that's
South
why I
Park,
like South Park, and they usually address like social issues that are happening at the time.
very
And
topical. Yeah.
I think they kind of missed a step. It's like there's that artist that you really like, and it's like, man, I've liked all these albums throughout the years, but now I'm starting to not like these albums. Like I still like your previous stuff, but now I think you're losing a step, or you're going in a direction that I just, I'm not feeling.
South
And
Park got a little
it
strange when
happens.
they started doing this stuff with Trump and with Mr. Garrison being Trump. That season was strange. And
Yeah,
then
that
once
was
Trump got
that
elected,
was a
they didn't
really
know where to
strange
fucking
season
go
that
with
really
it.
got me turned off like from
Yeah.
the show. Like I stopped watching, and then I checked out some more of their seasons. I'm like, okay, I might as well check out this other stuff. I'm really fucking bored. So I
Hmm.
checked it out, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it's much better than that Mr. Garrison, weird ass season. Like
Yeah, it was an unfortunate season. They kind of boxed themselves into a corner with that storyline.
they could have just dropped it. They didn't need to keep rolling with it.
Yeah.
Be like, dropped
Yeah.
it. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I tried running for president. Like Mr. Garrison saying, and just like move on with the show. Like
No, but they kept beating the dead horse to try and get something out of that storyline or make it make sense. You're
yeah,
right. They should
no,
just
no, they should have just
rebooted.
dropped it all and then returned him to normal,
Hmm. Well,
and
that's what it's
moved
back
on.
to
But
now.
I do like how there's like all these school shootings and everything in the South Park. That one episode, I think in season 22 or 23, one of the last few seasons after
Yeah.
that bullshit, and it's like. And everybody's just acting cool and calm about it. They're just like, oh, I got it, and they're just like running on, okay, everybody down,
And Stan's mom like freaking shit about it. It's like no one else is recognizing this. There's an issue
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
and it's just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is
It must
normal.
be your fucking PMS or some shit, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, it's that time of month for.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're all going, or no, no, was it menopause?
Yeah, it's menopause or something, dude. Like or period or something, right? Blaming
Yeah, it
it
was
on that.
some female bodily function that they were blaming it on. And yeah, that's kind of like what I feel like with the whole sex club too, by the way, because I reached out to a few people, that were going to visit Voodoo or members of the club, whatever. And I
Right.
got like pretty much like any response that I got was like a really nasty response.
Oh.
And I felt that I'm being taken out of context. So I like just take a screenshot, like here's what I say, here's what they said or did,
Yes.
and I'm just being completely fair, and I put it on my website, which is myvoodoostory.com.
Yeah, everyone should check that out. You really did a good job writing that up. I enjoyed
Like,
reading that.
well, yeah, I at least like as silly as I may sound, fucking up a sentence or not wording something properly, I at least explain myself in detail. Like I got this
Absolutely.
grievance, I got that grievance. Here's what it is. Here's how it started. Blah 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 blah. And all I get from this fucking sex club is like no discussion, no like correcting the record, or if I'm convinced to be wrong, no apologies or anything. Just some vague shit like, oh, you make fun of sexual assault victims, you don't belong here. Like, what?
Wow.
What the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what kind of people are going there? Are there decent looking women going to that, or is it,
Probably yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
sort of I guess like a swingers club? Would that
Yeah.
be a fair way to represent or to have an
Yeah.
idea of what
Yeah.
it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the only one that like this place holds a pretty much monopoly on all the kink fetish lifestyle events in Colorado Springs.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like
Okay, so it's not just swingers. It's a whole different.
They
A whole
have
bunch of
like
different.
meetups over there. They do private rentals there where they like rent to some people that want to use their dungeon or whatever.
Okay.
Um, and then there's like meetups there, like these polyamorous meetup groups. I guess it's not part of Voodoo Leatherworks, but they hold their meetings there. But it's like I'm not feeling welcome inside of Voodoo. I wouldn't, even if it was like some weird agreement where it's like, well, you could attend a poly meetup, and come in. It's like, man, I don't even want them accusing me of anything. Like I go in there and they're like, yeah, well, you took a knife to our couch. It's like I don't
Yeah.
want any of that fucking, shit because I don't trust this place. Like I don't like you totally violated my trust and I don't know if I could
And it's
ever
something
find that
really
again with this
you
place.
do
So
need
like
trust with
there's
something
no
like that.
remedy for me. What was that?
You really do need trust, a level of trust in respect of, with something like that to feel safe in that kind of environment.
Well,
And
I say the dude is abusive, like, cause and it was a minor case of abuse, like when this all started, with making up shit to use that to ban me. But
yeah,
then to stop my protests, you make up some shit on court paperwork. And not only that, but the dude tries to jail me multiple times. He's saying that I'm intimidating witnesses because my reaction to this was like, oh well, you guys are defaming my character, and at least one of you wrote it out in court paperwork. So if you're going to say that I'm making fun of sexual assault victims, I guess you should probably back that up with some shit.
yeah. No, it sounds like you almost even have the case to go after him for that, for
Exactly, and
filing
that's
false
like
charges and
his
defamation.
misstep, like was filing this false restraining order, and that my reaction was like T Rex recommended to me. He's like, "Why don't you file a well, not a false one, but why don't you file a restraining order against them?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I'm thinking like the very first time that we talked about this, I think it was sometime in November.
Yeah,
I just reacted with no, this is defamatory. Like you're straight up saying that I make fun of sexual assault victims, and then in the restraining order they say I'm a violent person. Like that's the number one go-to smear of me is I'm like a violent person, and that I'm stalking, like me showing up to their business across the street and protesting and leaving. Like that, if that's stalking, then I guess every
everybody's a
protest
stalker.
ever in America, yeah, is a stalker. So you just, I don't know, like I just can't believe I'm going through this drama, and I'm the whole point of the website is just to quote people and not take people out of context, explain myself. It's just kind of like one place to where you can find out all this information, and I throw extra information in there if people want to know
It is
the
pretty
type of
thorough.
person I
Yeah,
am. What was that?
it is very thorough, and you do a good job explaining, getting your side of
Oh
the
yeah,
story
yeah.
out there.
And then I'm going to have that at my protest. A little link to the URL so I could be heard by some people.
Yeah,
What's going on. Because I'm sure they're not all assholes. Although, like, I don't know if I can trust any of them. There's surely some I can't trust. And if you're all fucking buddies with the people I can't trust, and I hate to do the guilty by association thing, but I really got to play it safe here. If I didn't show up recording myself at these protests to kind of protect myself, I could have been fucked.
oh,
I could
you
have been fucked
absolutely
with
would
this
be,
lie.
right? With the kind of bullshit that they're saying and throwing the worst case scenarios against you with the stalking and harassment. If you didn't
Yeah,
have those recordings
yeah. It's
don't
like
lie.
I got 9 hours here of me being peaceful, kind of talking to myself at times. I grabbed a couple highlights from it. The two I grabbed every single interaction I had, which
Right.
there was two on the first day and there was two on the second day. So there's four altogether, and it was really quick and listened to it in like 7 or 8 minutes, all of them. And then I provided the chat logs, and then this dude is like providing like security camera footage from the parking lot, and it wasn't even. It was like there
There's
was a
probably
car
not
that
even
showed up.
audio with that.
There was a vehicle that showed up, and they kind of just stayed in their vehicle till another vehicle showed up, and I didn't think that was a problem. I'm like, okay, they're waiting for the person with the key. But in court, the dude was like, well, this person, this woman waited for her boyfriend because she was scared of that skinny, scrawny kid that's dressed in black across the street holding a couple protest signs. It's like the dude was like trying to stretch the shit, into something that it wasn't. It's like, look, I understand I'm upset. Like, I'm upset about this, and they're upset about this. Like, there's no winners here, really. Like, I won the right to protest again that was only taken away from me because this dude was such an abusive asshole. Yeah, and he tried jailing me over, like, he tried jailing me on December 6th, 2021. He tried jailing me at court, like just this last court date. He's
Yeah.
like, I want to file a motion for witness intimidation. And it's like, how am I supposed to respond to somebody? How else am I to respond to someone like making up shit about me? Like it's like defamation. Like that's where my mind went. That's not intimidation. That's just me reacting,
Right.
and saying what I'm going to do. And I told them exactly, like, if you read the transcripts, it's like I started ranting about this other thing that I want to run for president of the United States, and I got this story to tell, and how people write their way into my story is up to them. Like it's totally fair, open, and honest. And this was before they filed the malicious restraining order against me, and they're like, yeah, let's make our chapter really, really horrible, guys. Like I don't know what they're thinking. Like they might convince their fans that they're sex club and everything, but I guarantee you that at least in America, there's like 300, plus million Americans out there that do not live in your fucking bubble in
Yeah.
this,
Exactly.
Colorado Springs sex club. So they might be able to win their little fans over, but there's a bigger chunk that you're missing. And then when you include the world population, because people be interested in America's politics, then there's even more of them people,
No, it's definitely a good thing that you had the recordings and the documentation that you did. Because
Yeah,
it definitely could have gone south and been a bad situation, a worse situation for yourself.
well, yeah, like then I would have been fearing all the time because like one thing that I'm kind of relieved about is that I felt, and I can't explain it, but I just felt that the guy would try to bait me into jail. So there was this little bar up the road here that I been wanting to visit on Sunday nights. And I can't afford to go tonight, so it doesn't matter. There's always next month.
Sure.
But they do a goth night on Sunday nights, and I've been wanting
Oh,
to
that's
check it
cool.
out. But I make my intentions known online to like nobody really. I just kind of announce things so people stalking me could kind of find out where I'll be or what I'll do with ease. And so he might know that I want to go to this goth club, and he might want to show up there and maybe not be recognized right away, but then like call the police and be like, "Look, I tried confronting him earlier," and just try to throw me in jail somehow.
Right, right.
Like I've and yeah, that was one of my fears. And that's one thing like why I do these weird recordings, like, and I protect myself in this way, because this dude isn't the first asshole to like fuck me, like, and to do me wrong, and I kind of need to prepare myself for this, and I prepared properly, I thought, for my protests, and yeah, I mean, yeah, properly prepared, is, a point there. Hang on a second, I need to go pick my nose.
Yeah, no worries, man. So everything's been dropped then, so you don't have any more court proceedings as
I
far as
don't
this
have the
goes.
threat of jail or like, yeah, I
That's great.
one stressful thing about it is if I missed a court date, like if I overslept or some shit, and I have
Yeah,
insomnia, like, so I had to like
that's easy to
I was
do.
starting to worry about my sleep like almost an entire week beforehand, like around the 4 or 5 day mark. It's like okay, I got to get my sleeping under control because I got to get up at like seven
Yeah,
thirty in the
yeah.
morning.
I know where you're coming from there. I know what you mean on that. Um, so if you slept through something like that, they're gonna issue a warrant for your arrest, or
Or no,
it's certainly gonna
would have been
reflect negatively
a
on you.
permanent order of protection, or at least it would have gone into place permanently. And I think I could still have some legal proceedings after that, but it would just be a
You
bigger pain
could.
in the ass. And it's just like they win by default. I think I have
Exactly.
a
If you're
few
not there,
appeals.
yeah.
But it just would have been a bigger pain in the ass, and so that was kind of stressful too. It's like So now I don't have any of these worries, but now I'm a little disappointed that I can't afford to annoy them, or at least right now. I'm
Well,
playing it
yeah,
safe.
it's only
I
a
talked to my
temporary
landlord
thing.
tomorrow. Maybe they're like, "Hey, just toss us $100 now, and then you can pay the rest later." Whatever. I'll talk to them. But if I gotta like fork over like $300 now, that's gonna like leave me just enough to like rent a U-Haul. And like I
Yeah.
said, I don't even know if I can fucking buy another pack of cigarettes. Like, like I'm so fucked.
No, those fucking moving trucks aren't cheap. The daily rate's pretty cheap on them, but the per mile charge for those moving trucks, it's crazy.
And
It's
oh,
very
do you want
expensive to move.
insurance and blah 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 and
Yeah. Plus, when you move and get everything switched over to the new address, there's connection fees and hookup fees, and like I said, everyone holds out their fucking hand for some fee when you move.
oh yeah, well the emergency the EBP or something like that, EBB, it was this emergency funding for some uh internet, and I was paying like $10 a month for my internet before, but then
Okay.
I like upgraded to like a better internet that just gave me faster downstreams. Really, the upstream
Sure.
didn't really change, but my bill went from $10 a month to like $1.15.
Oh,
So,
how nice.
but that just ended. So
Right.
now I need to, I need to actually. I've been meaning to call them for a few days, and I just kind of am like remembering now. But I need to call my internet service provider and ask them about, because they said the program was going to end in February. So I don't know if that means like the beginning of
Or
February or the end of February,
yeah.
but it
Yeah.
was ending in February, and that's all I know. And so I need to figure this shit out because I don't. Because if they hit me with like a $60 bill
Oh,
now or a
easily, right?
$50 bill,
Depending on on the speed, they might just put it to the full price. Could be $100 a month package or something they put you in.
well, I'm on. Yeah, I get some government assistance, so they have a special program that I was part of
Right.
before this that I just want to get back into. It's like, look, I was paying $10 a month before, so I just like want to go back to where I was.
That's really good they have that because it is a necessity to have internet access these days.
But
If,
but here, so if like an internet is definitely not a high priority. Like if I'm trying to move, like moving is the top priority here. So if I need to give up my internet, like my bill is due on the 15th and it's $50 and Chris can't afford it, well he's going to get disconnected on the 20th. And although I still have internet unlimited data through my phone and
oh, okay,
everything,
I
so
was
I
going
can
to
still
ask,
kind of get
yeah,
online,
because I mean, even
but
just to rent a U-Haul, you're going to need internet access to get phone numbers or to book an
nah, I just go
reservation
straight
for the
there. I
truck.
just go straight there. There's one right up the
Okay,
road
well,
here. I'll just walk into the door and pay with my card like I have the previous
but
two times I needed
you
a
take
truck.
like online banking or most bills now you pay online either through your bank or onto their website. So
Well, I'll be able to get online. I'll be able to get
yeah,
online, like
yeah.
turn the wireless shit on to my laptop and then turn the hotspot onto my phone and then
Did you
just
say
run
you
off my
had?
phone for a little bit. And I should be able to do everything except I won't probably be able to game because it'll be too laggy. And
You
then
said
I
you have
probably won't be able to
unlimited
broadcast
data?
for a little while. But other than that, I'll still have access. But it'll just be a little rougher for a couple weeks. But like I said, like moving takes priority. I will definitely sacrifice my internet. If I can't afford to pay the bill, I can't afford to pay the bill, and I'll just have to wait till next month when I can't afford to.
You have unlimited data on your cell phone?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Although I
nice.
think they throttle you, after
Once
a
you
certain
hit.
amount.
Right, right.
But
That's
yeah,
pretty
like
good.
I don't even watch like the 1080p quality. Like I know I have it set to like auto on YouTube, but even like the
Right.
720 quality is still good for me. I'm like, because I don't
Sure, if
even
you're
have a
watching on
full
cell
window
phone,
open most of
smaller
the
screen.
time.
It all depends on the screen size. If you're watching like a 5.5 inch cell phone, you don't need it in 4K.
Yeah, yeah. I got a 27-inch monitor here, so I could definitely high definition the shit, but it's just whatever. Like I rarely have a full window open. It's always like taking up like 2/3 of the screen, and I can still see a little bit of my desktop or my desktop background. When I have my internet open,
Well,
and
around
because
this
I
time,
usually have my playlist of music going on off to the side, and then I have my browser window off to the other side, and I have them both on screen, so
okay.
I can't full screen either one of them. So I'm just kind of sharing the screen with a couple apps is kind of what I do on average. I'm never like unless I turn a movie on, but then I go download the movie and I just watch it off my computer. I'm not
Hmm.
trying to stream it.
Well, around this time last year, they ran fiber optic lines out here, so we got 2 gigabit internet.
Oh,
But I went
nice.
10 years out here with 1.5 megabit.
Oh,
So
oh
everything is
shit.
at 144. It was fucking misery. It was awful.
Well, I'm glad they finally took care of you guys. I know those
Yeah,
rural
it's
areas are a pain in the butt,
oh,
but
it was ridiculous. I had to use cell phone data for everything. You had to use as a hotspot for the computer just to fucking get on, check your email sometimes. It's what they were giving us was ridiculous. And it wasn't cheap. It was $85 a month with tax, and they gave you 15 gigabytes of data was the cap for
oh my
home
god,
internet. Yeah, fucking
like I could
ridiculous
I
what
could
they
blow
offered.
like 10 gigabytes in one day. Like I mean, easy.
Yeah, no, last stream I had with the goddamn podcast, or I guess a few weeks back when I checked it, about 25 gigabytes upload for a 3 hour stream.
Oh
It's like,
wow,
goddamn,
yeah, I remember that
it'll
now. You
fucking
you
push it.
mentioned that. I forget
Yeah,
how much it was. 25 gigs. Jesus.
yeah, 25 gigs for one show, but that's sharing screens and everything, not just pushing
But
to YouTube. But
I remember downloading that and it was like 900 megabytes. Like, so YouTube definitely took that 25 gigs and was like, we're making this smaller
oh,
here,
they
okay?
compress the shit out of it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The audio
Yeah.
is really suffers with their compression.
Audio doesn't take up that much though. Like, I mean, even just the raw audio nowadays, like
Hmm.
it just seems like it wouldn't. Anyway, I mean, I know it gets compressed, but
Sure, MP3s are compressed like shit. Apple, maybe 6 months ago, they started playing lossless, and so your standard MP3 will say it's like 3 megabyte, and lossless 60, 70, 80 megabyte. It's a lot larger of a file, but
yeah,
you
yeah.
really
I'm
notice the
still happy with
difference.
MP3. I know people can hear it and can hear the sound degradation. I don't really hear
There's a
it,
lot of
and
compression. A lot
yeah,
of compression.
the degradation to the audio quality because of the compression. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just I mean I'm happy. I listen to a lot of music on YouTube, and I got a bunch of MP3s, and I'm kind of happy with that right now. I mean,
No, it
until
works,
my
right?
data. Hmm?
And it depends what you're listening to. If you got expensive ass headphones or you just listen to the speakers through your phone, you're not going to notice any difference listening just on your phone when YouTube
Well, I usually
compresses
have
the
a
shit out of it.
headset. The earbuds, I really like the earbuds. Although I have these headphones, which I'll show you in a little bit.
Sure.
Um, they do like this 3D sound thing, and it's kind of interesting.
Spatial audio, I think. I know Apple
Spatial
calls it
audio,
spatial
yeah,
audio.
yeah, it's very interesting. And it actually like works. Um, but
Yeah,
my
it's
my ears
basically,
got to be like the headphones got to be like perfectly like aligned and everything.
yeah,
Like if it's a half inch off, it's gonna like throw the sound off and everything. And
it does
but
a really cool trick because it's basically surround sound that you're getting on your headphones, and then depending on your orientation of those headphones to the screen that you're watching it on or device you're watching it on. So it changes just like you would move your head in real life. If you had a surround sound system, you're going to hear it differently.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
great what
but
it
yeah, I mean
does.
the effect is still cool because I was playing around with like little testing thing and I was clicking and
Hmm.
dragging it like like just to hear the difference, and it is really. And then I'm adjusting the headset too, just so, oh, here it's perfect.
Yeah.
But it's probably never ever perfect on my head. Like I put it
Sure,
on and
sure.
it's like 90%, 95% good, but it's still like a little off. Maybe on one side, maybe on both sides. I don't know, but I definitely I definitely keep track of sounds in games. Like I react to sounds a
Right. Oh
lot.
yeah.
Um,
That make a big difference. I never really thought of that, but that make a huge difference in a game. If you had to, someone a sniper or something behind you and they drop a rock, you're gonna. If you didn't have that system, you're not gonna hear that. Real
well, yeah, sniper.
disadvantage.
Like there's in the 2142, you could kind of cloak, and there's a sound when you decloak, and not a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people pick up on that sound. I notice, but some of the better players do. Like I decloak to them a little too close, but this is
Okay.
why like I'm always like when I'm trying to stalk and chase somebody in the game, while I'm cloaked, I'll always try to like decloak away from them at least like 10 feet away, so they don't hear the sound. Um, yeah, I'm a little sneaky motherfucker in the game. If I could make the predator noise in the game, I would. That
Yeah.
little like clicking,
Yeah, yeah.
like right before I stab them. I wonder, dude, I'd probably get some people at times to like jump in their seat, because they're like they're off like shooting somebody in the distance and everything. They're like, look at those targets over there, and then suddenly they're dead, and they're like, oh, what the fuck just happened?
What the fuck? I'm
Oh,
sneaking
it's
out of
that
the.
motherfucker again. God damn it.
Yeah.
you know.
Or you just need to play against somebody who has really shitty headphones and they're not gonna get those extra channels audio.
Well, I mean, there are some deaf players too.
Oh, okay.
There's a guy that I mean, he's like I deaf man
Yeah.
is one of the players that plays on the servers, and I'm just assuming he might be deaf. I don't know. There's times where I have played without audio though. It's weird when you do that, and it's kind of freeing. Like
Yeah.
someone could
It
be
changes
chasing me,
everything.
yeah, and I'm just kind of like oblivious to it. But then because I'm oblivious to it, I'm still kind of like running and I'm chasing someone. So like someone could be chasing me and I'm chasing someone else. And it's a pain in the ass for the person chasing me, because I'm not aware of it. And it can have its advantages too, is what I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. It really sucks to be deaf for some of those games that you're talking about, where you're relying on that audio.
Yeah, oh,
It's
dude,
gonna
I rely on
change
that
the game
audio so
completely.
much because there's this walker like in the game, and a lot of people like to EMP strike it and then land an orbital on it as well. But the EMP strike makes this like humming noise before it strikes,
Yeah.
and so like when I'm in the walker, I really try to look out for that noise too. And if I hear that noise, it's like, okay, start moving because they're about to land an orbital strike right here, and if I just move at least 20 feet away, I'll be all right. But if I stand right here, I'm going to be blown up.
No,
And
I can honestly.
it's
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's actually why I land when I do the shit to someone else. I land an orbital strike first, and then I'll do the EMP strike second. Because the orbital strike usually gets a couple of hits off, which it could totally take something out, and then the EMP is just to kind of keep them close in the area. Um, when the orbital strike starts going off. A lot of people do the EMP strike first, and then they'll do the orbital. But you should do that in the opposite. You should land the orbital first, and then fucking the EMP strike is the best tactic, I think, in Battlefield 2142.
Interesting. What system is this on?
Oh, I think just PC. They actually have it for Mac too, but I don't know if
On Steam?
uh no, no, not on Steam. You'll need to buy the CD somewhere or find it online.
Okay. Oh, I don't even have a CD drive on my computer. They don't
Yeah, I
even
don't
make those
even.
anymore.
Yeah, this gaming laptop came with no CD drive at all.
No.
It's interesting, but it is kind of a waste of resources too. So instead of having like the CD-ROM or DVD drive, taking up all this space and everything, it's
Yeah, for the
just
very
kind of
few times you're
freeing
gonna
up.
use it.
Yeah, it's freeing up
It's
space and it's not
yeah.
taking up as many resources,
They
bogging
can
down
make
the
them a lot
computer
thinner
speed.
without that.
But I do
On
miss
Steam?
like my other gaming desktop, which isn't as good. It's just kind of sitting on my desk collecting dust. It has what is it, the Sound Blaster Fatality card on it, which is they have some interesting options where they have a recon mode which takes really really light sounds and kind of amplifies them.
Okay,
So then I
yeah,
could hear like people decloaking away people. I could just hear people better. If they're trying to sneak on me, I could be aware of that and not be surprised, which is a huge advantage.
that's on a
I
gaming laptop you have.
Yeah, I don't. The desktop is way upgradable, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
old. It's really old. I built it in 2009, and it's just.
Oh yeah,
And
that
then this
would
laptop
be
is like
showing
3 years
stage.
old, so I need to start thinking about. I want to get another desktop eventually. I need to get
Yeah,
my ass a job once I move, and I want to do a bigger move than this. It's just I could only afford to kind of move from point A to point B and not be
sure.
that
Well, it's one
far.
step at a time.
Yeah, yeah. I need to get my ass a job, save up some money so I can make a bigger move
Sure.
in the future. And then while I'm saving up money for a move, I want to get me a gaming computer because I'm only running the GTXs.
Right.
Um, I haven't ran any of the RTXs with the ray tracing
Mm-hmm.
um, feature on it. I could probably definitely run Cyberpunk. I want to definitely get that one of these days and have fun with it. But but I won't have the ray tracing and the cool, pretty effects. But I should probably be like they've had a little more than a year to work out a lot of the bugs of the game, and so like I remember the early bugs with the fucking Cyberpunk,
Yeah, a lot
and
of
I'm
it was
sure they've
unplayable.
hammered those out by now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like you said, it's been a year, but it definitely was very unplayable upon release. They rushed that to the shelves way too fast. It's such a shame. Such
Yeah,
bad publicity and turned so many people off.
yeah, yeah. Well, that kind of has turned me off too. Like I'm not in no rush to buy the game. I'm gonna try to get that game for like 20 or less dollars.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah. It probably has
um
dropped significantly.
yeah, yeah, and well and that's like that's that corporate arm of things. They're like, well, we're going to have this particular release date, and it's like, dude, if the shit ain't ready, the shit ain't ready. Like I mean, and that's why. And you got your shit removed off the Sony store, I heard. Um, I don't know if it's back on there, but at least this time last year that shit was like not available. So maybe they convinced Sony. They're like, no, no, see, we fixed all these problems.
It's down to $35 on Amazon for Cyberpunk 2077 for PS4.
Oh, I need a PC version, or I just
Oh,
need
the
the CD
PC.
key. I could add it to my Steam library with just the CD key.
Yeah, it's just doing search on Amazon to see how much they are. For Xbox One, it's only $33 for the CD.
Yeah. Yeah, they just ran a sale on that shit too, making it seem like, like on Steam. Like, I don't even know what the fucking price is. Do I even? No, I don't have Steam open right now. Let me open up Steam really quick.
They had a
Let's
great
see.
sale there over Christmas. I got Kerbal Space. I don't know if it's like 4.39, 4.99. It was under $5 for the fucking game.
Yeah,
Probably a
yeah,
shit
those
on.
are the games I like to buy.
Yeah, $5. Build some spacecraft and fuck around in Kerbal Space. Kind of fun.
I think it's in my wish list still, so let me. Resident Evil, man, those Resident Evil games never go below $20. It's.
No, that's about it for
Resident Evil
those.
2 and 3, 2 and 3 specifically. Like I think I bought the first Resident Evil remake really cheap. It's 59.99 at the fucking the Steam.
For
And
what
now
game?
I remember the overall reviews being mostly negative, but now it's saying it's mostly positive.
And that's for
So
Cyberpunk.
yeah, yeah, I remember the beginning. I added this on 12/3/2020. I
Uh,
remember when I added this,
yeah,
the
yeah, I
the
remember. Came out.
reviews were negative.
Yep, that's what
The-
everyone was saying online. They were doing the playthroughs, and it was legit. There were bad, complete fucked up sections of that game.
Yeah, I can't wait to get it. Like, someone should email me a fucking CD key, buy one and then just give it to me.
Yeah. Can you do that nowadays? Like, you can't really with Steam, right? Because it's linked to your account to download.
Yeah, you will. If the CD key is already taken, it's just going to deny me,
Hmm.
So I just, someone buy me, a legit, the American, version of Cyberpunk, and I'll totally play it. I'll do
Like we're
that for
talking,
you, America.
we're
It is a big sacrifice that I'll be making, all right? Because I'm the one that has to play it.
what we were
When
saying
this game
earlier.
first got released, it was littered with problems. All right, I'm doing this for you.
You're taking the sacrifice for you.
Taking the sacrifice, I will do
Yeah.
it.
That was the
Don't
nice
make
thing
me
with
do it. I'll do
Dreamcast
it.
is when I got rid of my Dreamcast, I sold it. I think I got like $25 for it. I fucking kicked myself for that because it was the easiest fucking thing to burn games for, and there was a
Oh
wealth
yeah,
of the catalog online to be able to download and burn to a DVD.
I learned that shit like after I bought a bunch of games for it, but like I learned that shit after the fact, and after losing some of my video game collection, I did learn that there was that they had three different versions, so there's three different boot CDs, and then
Right.
after you use the boot CD, you open up the fucking thing. And you take that CD out and you put in your fucking game that you want to play, and it starts up just fine.
Oh, I didn't even have to do that. The I don't know if it's because of the version I had, but I was able to put the boot sector on the CD because it was just CDs. I don't even think it was a DVD. And
Yeah, it's just
you could boot
CDs.
right off the any CD you made. You wouldn't have to first load up a bootloader on a different disk and swap it out. It was very, very easy to burn for.
Oh, you didn't have to. The way that I know it is that there was three different Dreamcast versions, and depending on which version, it was like
Okay.
1.1 or 1.3 or 1.5 of the boot CD, and then whichever version worked,
Yeah.
it'll make itself known, and then it asks you to open up the tray and put in the other thing, and then you put it in and it goes. But it's not like I really play these games anymore, and
And
like I
that's why I
said, I'll
got
be
rid of
more
it.
interested
Yeah.
in the really older ones because the older
Yeah.
ones just have a shorter time span to them, and it's not like I could, like I was a teenager, a little kid again, playing games all night, every night, throughout the weekend.
Well, I made a
I
couple of
have,
CDs for it. I know I had a Super Nintendo and just an NES disc I made. There's like 300 games that came in the pack I downloaded for it. So I mean, it's just a fucking wealth of fucking all your Mario's and Kirby's and um, fuck, mine's
the
going blank
Metroid
just
game
thinking all
was
these
really fun
titles.
for Super Nintendo too. Like that was like one of the best Metroid games I played.
Yeah.
I did have a fun with Metroid Other M. I think that was on the Wii,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Like I
you
said, I
you
couldn't
held the
get that one to
controller
work.
sideways and shit, and then you were like able to like control Samus, and then
Hmm.
you could like point the gun at the screen and shit, and they slowed the time down when you did that transition to just kind of help you
Oh, that's
not fuck
sweet.
up, and it was just very nicely designed.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good system that Wii. I missed the Wii.
That's
Good
why
little
I didn't
titles for that.
understand the lack of hand straps. It's like Nintendo thinks of this little shit, like this little subtle shit that could like make or break a game, but they didn't think to include the hand straps. And I know the video game department, like I just think that there would just be some sort of creativity across the board, like with Nintendo.
The Wii
I
U
know they're a
sucked.
foreign company and everything, and I'm supposed to, cause being an American, I'm supposed to hate everything that isn't America. But I really enjoy Nintendo. I do, just like any other corporation. I think they're selfish and greedy. They
Oh,
could totally be
absolutely.
selling
That's
these
its only
games for
purpose.
Nintendo for like 50 cents or a dollar, and they'll probably increase their profits more because more people would be able to buy this shit. Because when I
Yeah.
had the Wii or the Nintendo Wii, and I went to the Nintendo store, you could buy and download games like Super Mario 3 was like $5 or $10 to buy. Why is that so expensive? You know, you could
Yeah.
probably make even more money if you just like lowered the price, because then more people and people will go on fucking like little binge, like, you know, they'll take like $50 and buy all these fucking dollar games and shit.
Well, it's like YouTube Red or YouTube Premium. I want to say it's $8 a month. Maybe it's $15 a month. What the fuck? They need to make that a couple of dollars. There'll be so many more people signing up. They certainly wouldn't be making less than they are now, charging what they charge.
Well, yeah, I mean, YouTube kind of scares me sometimes, you know, because it's like, man, you guys started off this platform as free, and now, you know, I'm just, and now a lot of my recommendations are to like rent or buy fucking, you know, YouTube shit that's on YouTube, you know, and it's like, man, you know, I'm a poor motherfucker, and I don't know, I mean, a lot of companies everywhere could be doing things, you know, cheaper, you know,
Absolutely.
but
Netflix is like $22 a month now. Netflix has gone nuts
well,
on
I
what they're
think their
charging.
cheapest one is 9.99, so you know they still have an affordable price, but there's just nothing
It's shit
like
quality though.
I had Netflix for months and I watched a lot of things off of it, but then I stopped watching things off of it, and then I was going over to Tubi TV and checking out some more stuff over there at the free thing that has like ads and everything. They'll play a free movie for you, and you just watch ads
Sure,
every
just sit
10
through a
minutes or
couple
something.
ads.
Yeah, every other scene change or something like that. Um, and yeah, and then I canceled my Netflix because it's like, man, I've been paying this bill a few months, and I haven't even checked out Netflix yet.
That's
So
where
it's
they make
like,
their money. The people that forget about it or hardly use the goddamn thing.
yeah,
Sign
it's like
up and
okay, I
watch a
guess I'll
couple of.
cancel it now because you know, and the last time I used it, it was 8.99. So they must have just
Yeah.
recently changed the price to 9.99.
Well, they keep changing it because it depends on if you want 4K or just standard high definition, and then how
Well,
many
I
accounts
don't even get
or
the high
devices.
definition. I just get the standard one.
Okay.
Like you could be logged in and watch one movie from one device.
Yeah, I'd gotten it over the summer last year, and I want to say it was like 22 or 22.99 for the 4K and 5 devices. I think it allowed,
Yeah.
but not they. I hadn't had Netflix in years and years, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Um, they even stopped the free month free trial. You know, I went to there because there wasn't much on TV over the summer and shit. I was having issues with the back, so I needed just something to watch. I figured I'd get, okay, 1 month of free Netflix, see how it is. They don't even do the free month anymore.
Yeah,
Even
they keep on
Amazon
sending
still
me
gives you a
emails
month.
to remind me. That's why I know this 9.99 thing, you know, because I just recently saw an email. And it's like, if you want me to come back Netflix, you gotta give me a free 30 days first.
Yeah. Oh my God, after I cancel it, man, like fucking every day there's an email. Hey, come back and we'll get it back for 22.99. It's like you're not giving me anything to really draw me back in, motherfucker.
No,
Give
but
me a free month
no,
or
seriously, twenty two
huge
ninety nine
discount.
though, and you could come back. Come
Mm,
on. Twenty
it's
two
like,
ninety nine.
yeah, fuck you. You're not drawing me back in. I get Disney Plus for fuck 8.99 or under $10 a month. And at least I can watch Simpsons on there. Like, holy
Yeah.
fuck, there's so much on Disney Plus. Definitely one of
Yeah,
the
they're
best
gobbling everything
platforms.
up, you know.
They own everything. Man, do they own the fucking world.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely, you know, need to be broken up. Like, we need to start invoking these antitrust laws that
Yeah,
probably should have
Disney's
been
gonna need
invoked,
it.
like, you know, decades ago.
Exactly, because they're gobbling up every fucking little thing there is. Um,
Yeah.
it's gonna be an issue. There's so many.
Eventually, you know, you know, when one entity has so much control, just like look at me with this fucking, you know, sex club shit. You know, like
Right.
every event is like held in part, you know, either at Voodoo Leatherworks or, you know, someone, you know, high up, you know, in, you know, the staff or the ownership of Voodoo Leatherworks, you know, and it's like, okay, so now I fucked this place off, they fucked me off, whatever, details, you know, not really important. But, you know, what is that they just have the monopoly on the thing. So now I'm not going to be a part of anything that they're a part of. So, and that leaves me, like one, maybe two events a month that I could attend. Like
You have to start your own place.
exactly. I
Find
was
more
actually thinking
like-minded
about
people.
that. I got in touch, and I don't know if they're lied or undercover or going to betray me in some way, or if I could even trust them. But they said that they were parts of this other thing that they don't really have a business for it, but this dude was doing stuff at his house or whatever, and I'm like, well, we could use this opportunity. Like, I'll give all the money away. Could we make a better sex club for Colorado Springs, though? And actually have some competition for this other fucking shitty place? Is an idea that I ran past this person that has reached out to me. But I'm kind of like, I talk to them like about once a week or something. This past month we haven't
Okay.
really talked, but I shot him an email about a week ago. He got back to me a few days ago, so it's just kind of and my offer is still like, hey, I could sue this dude for defamation, and we could take the winnings and make a better sex club. I don't know if that would be enough or whatever, but all the money could be available, minus maybe a pizza party and some cigarettes and maybe some weed. Okay, minus like $200. All right, 150, $200. But other than that, and any weed that I may buy will definitely not be held. I'm gonna go buy some weed and smoke it out off of my property.
Are you in a? Is it legal in Colorado, or is it just medicinal? That's legal.
Oh, it's legal in Colorado, but see, here's the thing: is I'm a poor motherfucking peasant, and I'm on these government housing assistant things, and these assistant programs are federal, and so they just go federally, and since it's not legal federally, they frown upon it. Even
Sure,
though
sure.
I
But
could probably
there's
say that most people that live at these places, do enjoy in the state's freedom, but that is, it would be wise to not, admit certain things.
no. I guess what I'm wondering is, so there would be dispensaries people can go to in Colorado
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you're not gonna
Not
get
in
hassled or
Colorado
it's not
Springs.
legal.
Well, there's dispensaries, like medical dispensaries in Colorado Springs, but we're one of those weird towns where it's like you can't have recreational in Colorado Springs, but you can have the medical shops where the people with the medical card. But
Right.
the recreational outside of Colorado Springs, and it's like a what? Okay, like
So if just average Joe doesn't have a medical license for it, and Colorado Springs has a couple of grams on him, is that legal for him to have to smoke? Um,
yeah.
you know.
Well, and that's another thing is like, when I do smoke it off the property, it's like it's still illegal because I can't be walking like down the sidewalk or at the park smoking it. But where else am I going to smoke it? Like, what
Okay,
if
so
I don't have
wouldn't
no
be legal in
friends?
public places to smoke.
Yeah, there's really nothing. Like, I think there's a few like marijuana clubs out here where you could
Sure.
go in the club and you could smoke weed in there, and that's fine. And but like just doing it in the parking lot or some shit, like you go out grocery shopping and you're not even the one driving, and you just go out, pop out the door and light up a joint.
Right.
You're not supposed to do that. Like, a cop could fuck with you if you really wanted to. you
Okay.
know
I mean, that's how it is here. Like, if you go into the city, you can't smoke in the parks or on the sidewalks, but you can't smoke cigarettes either. In the parks or on the sidewalks, there's designated smoking areas set up, and they have an ashtray and shit.
yeah.
But you can smoke a cigarette, you can smoke a joint, and you can smoke marijuana. Um, and then of course, in your house. But it would be dependent. Like if you're renting a place and they didn't allow cigarette smoking, they're not going to allow marijuana in the house either. But it's completely decriminalized here
Yeah,
for
no, not
medical.
that way here yet. But yeah, smoking is frowned upon too. in a housing assistance. So they make
Sure,
you
a lot of
sign like a
places scan
clean
that
air
way.
addendum thing to the lease.
Yeah, most places that you try to rent now, they're not going to allow any kind of smoking, cigarettes or marijuana.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's because a lot of people, poor people, fucking um, do rent. So we got to tell the poor peasants what they can and can't do.
In their own house that they're paying for.
Yeah, in
I
their own
I can
house that they're
understand
paying for. Like,
cigarettes. I can understand not having cigarettes in the house, but marijuana, I mean, there's not that much odor, and it's nowhere near the volume of smoke that a cigarette would have.
well, like, look, I understand the marijuana argument too, because it is really stinky though. You don't smoke as much of it, but it is really, really,
It
really,
is,
really
yeah.
stinky. Like when I have my buddy over, sometimes he has like some weed in his pocket or whatever, and
Oh,
it's
you're gonna
not
smell
like,
that,
I
yeah.
knew he had some weed. He just like kind of comes over, and it's like, whoa, man, I like smell that. Like you're not even smoking it, and I like smell it, And then he's like, when I first got here, I'd tell people to go to the bathroom, but now I tell people to like go outside, and at
Sure.
least go off property because like, what other, tenants do here, what other neighbors here of mine do, that's their risk and their business to take. I'm just looking out for myself here. So, I'm like, he's like, could I go like to the bathroom like the good old times, like 2020? And it's like, no, man, no, you got to go outside. Like, I'm sorry. I wish I had like a vehicle like you could hop in, but it's still like kind of risky,
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
pretty risky.
Yeah, yeah, it's like go down the road, go off the property, and that's just what they want. That's what my
Hmm.
landlord wants, and so that since that's what my landlord wants, that's what I want from you,
Oh, I think that's
and
fair.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
think
not
some
the
vapes.
rule's not fair by the landlord, but that's a fair thing to ask a friend for sure.
Well, the vaping is the thing that should really be compromised on. Is
Absolutely.
like, I mean, the vaping doesn't really produce that much smoke.
It's just
And
water
yes, I'm
vapor.
sure it does over time. Like, you're staying in a unit for like 5 years or something, and it eventually
Maybe,
starts
yeah, maybe the
staining.
nicotine and shit, but the majority of it's water vapor. It's what it turns
Yeah,
into. So what damage is that doing? It's not sticking to the walls like a cigarette would.
I mean, all places get painted over anyway. Like, typically, like, I mean, I didn't mess up any of my walls or anything, so I don't know if they're going to paint, but I assume they are. And it's
Right.
like four basic walls and a ceiling, plus the bathroom. Like, it's like, uh, I don't know. I presume they're going to fucking paint, but I kind of clean my walls anyway, just because they sweat, and just cooking here alone, and there's no ventilation here except if I crack a window open.
Yeah.
So I just I kind of keep my place clean. Is really, I got a HEPA air filter in here, in case there is you know some purifying that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Like, and
It
I
cleans it
keep
up.
what I legally can. They won't even let you have scented candles. Like,
Wow.
with the clean air addendum, like you can't have
Right.
scented candles. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like,
That's really
dude, if I
fucking
if I
strict.
have some chick over or something and we're going to have fucking sex or whatever, I'm going to like, you bet your ass I'm going to get like some, good scented thing to like fucking burn.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened yet, but eventually it will, all right? You know?
That's crazy though, how much they can dictate what you can do in your house that you're paying for. They're
Well,
controlling you
it's
so
technically
much.
their property, and I understand that. Like, this is their walls. This is their refrigerator.
Right, but you're not ripping down walls and putting in skylights and new flooring and shit. We're talking about, having it be the akin to having a cocktail after work to smoke a joint, right? I
Yeah,
mean, they're gonna
yeah,
say you
yeah.
can't drink in your
Pretty much.
house, but it's fine to get shit faced. That's fine. That's great. You're on you hurt your back and here's a shit ton of painkillers. That's fine. That's great.
Yeah.
But oh my God, you got marijuana for pain. No, you can't do that in your house. Even though
Or even outside with the regular smokers. Like, I mean, just go outside. Like, it's like I need to tell my guests. to, just go off property.
Yeah.
Like make
Yeah.
sure they don't have a reason to bitch at me is kind of like how I put it. It's like I don't have a problem with you, and here's how to avoid that problem, and hopefully my friends listen. I don't have that many friends in my life, so it's
No,
not
it's.
really
I
a
mean, you're
big
being
thing that comes
reasonable.
up a lot.
It's what you have to abide by.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think vaping should be made exception, but vaping is still would be frowned upon. But compared to like like there's this one dude that was like very toxic and harassing me. He's one of my neighbors that has a camera right by his door, pointed right at my door.
Oh, that shouldn't be allowed.
I well my door is in the frame, like, so he's like has it set up in a way where he's like, oh, I'm just looking at the front of my door, and
Right.
whatever's in the background is in the background. But anyway, this dude is he's a piece of shit, but he's all he like he always be outside smoking cigarettes for months and months and months until a few months ago where I like put him in his place and shit. And then like ever since he's been like hiding out at his fucking like
Right.
uh in his place and everything, and it's like, well, dude, like you smoke and everything, so like if you never go outside, that's really obvious.
Right.
Although it's not, I don't know if there's anything legally that could be done because it's technically, I guess, it's speculation. It's like, but anyway, one of the other neighbors that he was feuding with got in touch with me and like went over to his Facebook and like found all this like pictures and videos of him like smoking like inside his apartment. And I'm like, well, that's probably a good case. You should probably send it to the landlord, and the dude is still here, so whatever, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah. Not that, like, it's just like he's like, like, I don't know. I take certain precautions, and it just seems like other people could, like, not take any fucking precautions. Kind of reminds me of Cobes, what the DP would have Cobes, King
I do.
Cobra.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Or maybe I'll eventually catch up to him. It's just they need more documentation and everything. So maybe I'll catch up with him like it did with King Cobes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see, even like that dude, like, like I'm sure King Cobra didn't have an air filter. He didn't like. I have the scented oils in my apartment that I keep stocked. I have two of them, like one in the bathroom, one out here in the main room. And that's it. But I at least take care, and I clean things, and I'm on my hands and knees, or get in the wall and everything, because it's like stuff is starting to stick to it or whatever, and so yeah, I like to think that I keep things nice here, and I definitely need to quit smoking cigarettes. I can't afford it this month.
Nope.
It's
It's
like I
just
might
too
be forced to
goddamn
quit smoking.
expensive.
I know. It's like I can't even. I'm like worried about how I'm going to afford this. Like, and that's one of my main stressors. It's not really my main worry, but it's stressing the hell out of me. Like,
Do you have
man,
any
in
vaping
like
gear?
10 days, I'm going to be so like irritated and going outside looking for cigarette butts that I could re-roll. I don't even re-smoke them. Like I have a rolling machine here, the little hand roller,
Yeah.
you put the shit in. And
Oh
then I
yeah.
have
I know
some,
all about them.
things here. And I make sure to save, like I have a bunch of, oh, I can't even grab one right now. They're kind of buried. But these are just kind of empty filtered from the cigarettes that I've like drained in here. And
Sure.
I reuse one of my own filters. It's been used once already, but it could be used again and maybe a third time, but not really much beyond that, because then it just becomes like, then you're like sucking through like a clogged straw. It gets really resonated,
Have you
where the
looked
smoke just
into
can't pass through.
buying the tubes, the filter tubes, and just loose tobacco and rolling your own with that machine? Is it
Well, not I don't
certainly a
like the
lot
tubes
cheaper?
because the tubes, can't fit in your pocket nice and easy.
No,
And
well, I
this
mean,
thing can.
if you sit there for like a half hour and roll a pack, depending on how efficient you are or how fast you can roll one, right? But roll a bunch in advance, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
It's a lot cheaper.
no. Well, I have this cheap ass tobacco here that someone gave me that I will not really touch unless I'm forced to it. Got this gambler tobacco.
Okay.
There's a little bit in there, little bit, but um,
That's what I did for years when I was poor as fucking university and working at bakeries. It's only
I
like
just
$2, $3 for 50
I
gram
don't.
pouch of drum, and it came
Okay.
with I don't know like 50 rolling papers. So it's just roll it and smoke it unfiltered. Cheap as fuck.
Yeah, the drum tobacco is a nice
It
tobacco.
is. It's really
Like
smooth
like
and
much better than this shit. This is like some
yeah.
light, cheap ass pipe tobacco shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, the
That
drum's
I
a
don't even I
good
don't even
flavor.
feel satisfied after having one. It's like I have one of these and it's like did I just have a cigarette? I think I should have another.
That's how
And
this
then I'm just
vaping
like chain smoking
is.
this shit.
Like I just sit here for hours on this fucking vape because it's there's no satisfaction in it. It doesn't fulfill that nicotine need.
Really? It's a little
Yeah,
light?
just and I have the highest concentration nicotine you can get for these, but just it doesn't fucking do anything.
Well,
Like
are you
smoking
maybe
air.
smoking too much and your tolerance is too high and
Oh
you
yeah,
just don't
that's
realize it yet because it's
probably what
easy
it
to kind of
is.
overdo it?
It has to be, right? Because I puff this. If I do a 3 hour stream, I'm puffing this thing till it's empty.
Well,
So it
you
must
should
be a
do a vape,
tolerance.
but you should do a weed vape, man. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Just doing the tobacco stuff. You should
Oh no,
be
I
sucking
have
on a
my
weed vape for 3 hours, man.
pipe and I have my weed and I do it that way. I guess we call them pipes up here. I got so used to calling them pipes. Everyone calls it a bowl down there. I try calling it a bowl up here and no one knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. The bowl is a term common out here, but I have heard the term pipe too, but it's not used as often. And usually when I think pipe, I'm like thinking of like some crack pipe or some shit like that. Not like
I
what
think
what
like
do you
the
mean a
old
pipe?
man
Oh,
kind
you
of
mean a bowl?
pipes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I for years called it a bowl up here and they had no fucking clue what I was saying. Smoke a
Like,
bowl,
yeah,
what the
what, you
hell is
want some
that?
cereal, son? You need a bowl?
No, it's just it's so nice. You were saying though, like how it's very pungent, the smell of marijuana. So these when I buy it medically, it gets shipped to my house in these little containers, and it just fucking stinks up the mailbox.
Nice. You're
And
like, yeah, I know this has arrived. Hell yeah.
yeah, like it's sealed, man. It's sealed and vacuum sealed again, packaging. You still fucking smell it. It's crazy.
Nice. Well, like, I mean, maybe their hands are still stuck with some of that, residue. So they get done wrapping everything, and then they still touch some keef and
Oh,
everything
okay,
to the
yeah.
packaging that is still smellable.
Yeah, it must be or something, or it just fucking finds its way through the plastic. The
Yeah, it finds
scent
its
of it
way through the
just
plastic. Like,
goes through.
I think there's this one place that vacuum seals like mason jars like really
Okay.
tightly, like
Hmm.
like something like that. So it's like glass and metal that like seals it.
I can see why like drug sniffing dogs can find this shit at airports because you can't get rid of that. I know people that have like shoved it in coffee cans and tried to ship it or go through the airport that way. It doesn't.
Well, all you
You
got to
still smell it.
do, didn't you remember? I think it was even in the Diarrhea and Frank, where all you need to do, like, if you're really trying to get some weed through, you could totally like accidentally drop some tobacco, like a bag of tobacco, but like half of it or a little more than half is weed, another
Hmm.
half is tobacco, and just drop it to where people are going to be stepping on it and getting on their shoes, spreading the smell everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you drop it in like the smell at the beginning of you drop the stuff on the ground at the beginning of a busy entrance or
Right.
somewhat busy entrance, and then that smell is being tracked all over the fucking place. That dog is not going to know what the fuck, or chances are, it's not going to know what the fuck. unless you did a really, really bad job, with your packaging. Um, just the plastic itself, though,
Right.
yes, that smell will go through. But if you had like a more solid, like a glass jar with like a metal
Right. It
top,
doesn't get through the glass.
yeah, it doesn't get
Yeah.
through the glass or the metal as easily as it does with the fucking plastic, man.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because like I said, all this shit's vacuum sealed and is it pungent.
But it's illegal out there, and so it's like no
Oh yeah.
big deal.
Yeah.
You're just fucking going about life, and you're not fucking ass raping anybody for having a gram or 30
None.
on them or whatever the fuck it is.
Nope. We
Yeah,
go to government stores to buy it for recreational, and then if you have a medical license, you sign up with like an online dispensary. And then there's local dispensaries for
yeah,
medicinal. But yeah,
that's
no
nice.
issue. We're allowed
So you could,
like
is
an
there a delivery
ounce.
service? Like,
Oh yeah, it comes in the post right to the door.
no, 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 like a delivery driver, like a driver, like you're ordering pizza or
Like an Uber,
something.
Uber Eat kind of thing. I don't think there is. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of anyone using a service like that. That's a fucking
Mm.
brilliant idea.
Well, yeah, well, like, what's wrong with some dude driving around,
Yeah, he just brings you
it,
in. Same as bringing you a food order.
heading, yeah, to the neighborhoods with some green in his bag and maybe a few candy bars and
It's
sodas or
just,
something,
it's a legal drug dealer. It just delivers it
Yeah,
to you, but it's completely legal now. It's like a beer delivery. No
yeah,
difference.
and you don't need to hang out with your dealer and smoke with him,
Smoke half your
like
shit with them. No, it's fucking
it's like
lovely.
here's your money, get the fuck out of my face now, all right?
Yeah. Well, that's what's nice. I just go online and buy it, or if I go to the liquor store to buy the weed, and don't have to fuck around.
Yeah, we have legal like the Colorado Springs doesn't have the recreational marijuana, so we're like the movie, we're like that town in the movie Footloose in a sense,
Yeah,
but we have like liquor stores everywhere. So liquor stores,
fine with that.
DUIs, are
Yeah,
still a thing in Colorado, like with alcohol related. I'm not, oh, we detected THC in the system, but the dude's
right.
blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit. Bullshit. Because it's like, yeah, I think the alcohol had more to do with that than the fucking weed. And yeah, yeah, so it's amazing. We got alcohol stores, but you got to go to a different town to get your weed. If you just want to do it recreationally, grab it recreationally.
For sure.
Otherwise, you need to see a doctor and go through all this process to have a card. But either way, it's still wrong.
Yeah,
For
I don't drink
us
anymore,
peasants,
and
it,
I
it, it
have
like in the just like where I'm living right now, it's wrong for us peasants to be even get whether it's recreational or medical. It's a big no.
right.
Do it off the property.
No, I like the model that is it Oregon State. They decriminalized all drugs, is my
Oh
understanding.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
as mushrooms and fucking Molly and mm, do whatever you want. I'm sure it's hard to find some things, uh, was decriminalized.
I need to definitely get my hands on some ecstasy or Molly or MDMA and some psychedelics. But do you guys have that legal out there in Canada?
No, as far as I know, all that stuff's still anything hard is still illegal. We just
Man,
have
I need to
the
get my ass to
marijuana.
Oregon. I was thinking about going to Portland before hitting. It was either between Portland, Oregon area or Colorado Springs. And I just
Yeah.
thought that my car couldn't make it through the Rocky Mountains, so I ended
Oh
up at
yeah,
Colorado
yeah.
Springs.
It's only been that's a new thing for Oregon. In 2020, I think is when they decriminalized
Yeah, but
everything.
see, if I moved there in 2013, 7 years later, because right here in
Yeah,
Colorado
you'd be
Springs,
there.
I think just a few years ago, like a couple years ago, they took like charges, and I have a friend that's homeless, and she's addicted to meth too, and
Hmm.
she's always getting into trouble over it, and it's like she
Yeah.
keeps on getting these felony charges over these drugs, and they changed it from a felony to like a misdemeanor.
Okay.
But
That's much better.
I guess a step in the right direction. But I
Yeah.
wish we would have really gone all the way like Oregon did. But Oregon sounds like a really cool place to live, except the wildfires.
Yeah.
I
No, it
was a little
sounds a lot more
concerned.
progressive when with the drug laws.
I'm weird
And
too. I'm a weird motherfucker. So I was thinking that I was maybe a Portland, Oregon kind of weird.
yeah, fuck, might fit right in. I hear it's a lot more liberal out there. But surprise, surprise, Oregon didn't turn into this fucking hellscape, drugged
Oh,
out,
there's
cracked
people
out.
murdering and raping everybody left and
Yeah,
right, and crime
yeah,
is at like an all-time high, and none of
yeah.
that. No.
Crimes drop and DUIs drop. Everything just drops. It's
Wow.
you know what you're getting. You're not getting fucking risks of getting fentanyl and shit in your weed or
Well, if they have legal dispensaries, or at least, I mean, I'm sure decriminalizing the stuff is making, more available, safer, alternatives. I'm sure there's
definitely
still shit
safer.
out there,
Yeah.
but less shit, less crime,
No, that's what
less
happened here.
DUIs,
uh,
wow.
That's what
Uh,
happened here when they decriminalized the weed and the government sells it as far less deaths from getting weed with fentanyl or something laced in it. Uh, Kids have less access to it because there's not drug dealers everywhere. They
Yeah,
all
I
lost
bought
their jobs.
my first bag of weed, like I bought off the school bully, and I remember like I passed out, I blacked out. Like every time that I smoked this one particular bag, I must
Oh,
have
God
rolled like
knows
four
what
or
was
five
in it.
joints out of it, and I blacked out. I did stuff, I was like banging my head on shit, throwing up, not knowing that I did it. It was the only kind of
Yikes.
blackout experience I ever had in my life. Someone said either heroin or PCP.
Okay,
I that it
that's
was laced
crazy.
with, and shit was very echoey. I remember the echoes too. And I did get high. There was like the marijuana high as
Yeah,
well mixed in there, but it wasn't just weed. It was some lace, rusty color looking.
weird.
Maybe it was heroin. I don't know. Or I don't know if PCP comes in color. I don't know what colors they come into,
I've
but
never seen
it was
it,
a
so
long
I
time
couldn't tell you.
ago.
Yeah,
Someone laced my shit though,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and that's some of the problems. When you have this shit criminalized, is you get bullshit shit like that.
You do. It's got, or people don't give a fuck, or they're getting you hooked on it. You don't know what the fuck you're getting. Every bottle I buy has a fucking printout of its percentages, what
And it
they've
can be
lab
tracked
tested
where
it.
it was grown, and there's probably some regulation there where they can't just you know like use nuclear waste soil to
No,
grow
all
the
this
plants
shit's
in.
greenhouse controlled. It's a production line. It's all mass production.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
that's good.
regulated and it's very strict growing conditions for it.
But really, you should think about, at least going the American route and build more prisons and hate more
Yeah,
people and
that's what it
take them
needs.
away from their families. And,
Give them a criminal
that
record, can't get a
there's a lot of
job.
cops and shitty DAs out there that are willing to get fat paychecks to fucking people, okay?
There's so
Why don't
much
you do that
money
more?
in keeping it illegal. So much money they can make. The state can
Yeah, they
make.
could, I mean,
No, but they're
so
making
it'd
too
be
much
something to
now.
consider.
They're making too much now by keeping it illegal. From fucking it over people's lives and all these
I
fees
know.
and
Think
keeping
about the
lawyers
fucking
rich
shitty
and
DA that wants to fuck all these people and take them away from their families and shit,
yeah,
or their loved ones. I mean, what about them?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. You're fucked for life. You have a record. You're gonna have issues getting a job over something that's legal in lots of parts of the world now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of sad, we do it to ourselves in America, and we like go about our days, like, oh yeah, it's just fine. Even this dude, like, I was, I mentioned in some previous blogs that I indulged in some poppers, and it's pretty much like an
Right.
inhalant, like sniffing glue or nail polish or something like that. And he was like, like going on, like, yeah, he does illicit drugs, fucking, he's a bad person. And it's like, oh yeah, dude, being the owner of a sex club, I'm sure nobody once ever there was never anything other than alcohol ever involved, ever, in the whole history of this one particular sex club. Like, give me a fucking break. I'm sure, I mean, I remember my friend that was hooked on meth all the time.
Right.
She would fucking like smoke some meth and she would be like fucking flipping out for hours. And for days even, like just on like a little bit. And it's like, so someone just doesn't like, like use right before they go to the club. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
you
I
know?
mean, if you're not causing an issue, what the fuck's the problem?
Yeah, I just like I mean I just maybe they are really anal about that stuff over there. I just kind of doubt it, and that's why I really want to make it known that he was shit talking drug users, because I'm sure there's a good chunk of them that do drugs there.
Sure.
And I understand he runs a business, so they're like, well, look, he has to say a certain thing. Yeah, he didn't even need to bring it up in the first place. Like if he really is on that side, then like why even try to use it against me? He tried using that I got like mental health issues as a way against me, a thing against me, and I'm sure.
See, that's not cool. If
Well,
someone has mental health issues, that doesn't make them a bad person. It's the same as being handicapped, right? Or having
well, it's not just
like in a
that. Like,
wheelchair kind of
look,
thing.
Trump
Like,
is handicapped. I do admit. All right, Trump is very handicapped, but it's how he acted and how he made fun of mentally handicapped people. Like I'm more
yeah, he
upset
did.
about that shit than I am like him just kind of ranting about shit that he doesn't really know.
Sure.
Like the details of. But I just, okay, so I have mental health issues. I've been abused. Gone through trauma. I got some mental health issues. Yes, I'm not a perfect person, and I'm trying to get better. And I'm a total loner, which it does have its benefits, but it does have its cons too. And it takes me longer to heal and recover than other people. But anyway, I just like this dude is like, oh, you make fun of sexual assault victims. Like, that's how this whole thing got started. And it's like, okay, well, sexual assault victims, and we all know, right? When you go through abuse and like a sexual assault or something like that, you're very likely not to have mental health issues as a result of that.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh my God, you sound like such an asshole. Like, because he used all this shit against me. And guess what? All I've been doing is just like, here's how they're acting, here's what they're saying, here's what I said, here's my argument in great detail. Like, you just mentioned probably like an hour ago at this point that, I was very thorough, like, with my explanation and everything. And yeah, I am very thorough, and I'm going to continue being that, is all. Um, Definitely. Anything that they do, and I'm not going to like try to twist it against them. It's like, look, I just explained it like with the drug thing. Like you talk shit about drug users. You tried using my popper use like against me, which is just kind of something that I do when masturbating. It's not like something that I do all the time. And and you tried using that against me, and then you're an owner of the sex club, yet I mean, you see where I was like getting at. I'm getting a little
Yeah.
stonery here and getting kind of lost in my thoughts,
No, it's all good, man. I know
uh,
where you're coming
but
from.
yeah, I'm just kind of just like, here's what I'm saying, here's what they're saying. You decide, and they're really threatened by that.
No, it's all good. My battery's actually holding up pretty good, so watched a
How is your
couple of
battery?
clips on.
My battery, I'm kind of getting a little burnt out right now, so I was thinking about taking off
Yeah, no,
shortly.
that's cool. I got a few more things I gotta play with here and kind of dial in a little bit, but I appreciate having you on. It was a good
Yeah,
chat,
thanks for
and
having me on. I thought you were going to bring someone. I didn't know, quite honestly. Like I kind of just assumed it. I'm like, he'll probably bring someone because he's asking me to bring someone. So,
yeah, I was
there'll
trying to get a
probably
few
be
people
like three
on
or
and
four people here.
kind of test it out, and certainly future streams that'd be a lot of fun to have a couple of friends on and try something different here and watch some
How does this
content.
look to the viewers? Because I don't like. I just see like art. Like you're like a little circle. I'm like a little rectangle in the upper right-hand corner, and then I see the desktop.
Oh,
Look like
okay,
a
yeah. I have a shared screen with you on Skype, but we are going live to YouTube, and it's playing pretty good. There's a little bit of a glitch. We drop some frames every now and then, but all in all, it's going pretty good. The audio is great.
like
It's,
how are we displayed on the main like video though?
I'll send you the link for this, and you can check it out on
I'm
YouTube.
curious. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
just give
know
me a
because I'm
second.
just like this tiny little thing, and same with you. You're this tiny like I could squish both of us with
Oh,
like
is
one
that on
finger.
Skype?
Yeah, on the Skype. Yeah, I
Okay,
haven't
yeah.
gone
I
to
don't
the
even know
YouTube.
what is given to Skype, but what I have Skype is just like a shared screen with you. It's nothing like what I'm sending to YouTube right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll check
I
it out.
dropped you
I'm
that
sure
link.
like people like I can barely see anything in my background, but maybe there's like a dirty sock somewhere or whatever. I don't know.
It's all
Like,
good. It's I have it kind of dark on the settings here, so it's a little hard to make out much. But it's nice and
yeah,
crisp image that's going to YouTube, so that's all that matters.
cool.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm not
definitely enjoyed
blurry,
the
am I?
chat.
Because I think there was a issue when I first tried talking to TJ. It was the last time I used my webcam, actually. The last time I talked to
Okay.
TJ over the summer, like 6, 7 months ago.
Yeah.
But it started like blurring my face, like or it was like blur the background,
Yeah,
but
Skype
then
does
because I
that.
wear the mask, it's like blurring my face too, and it just couldn't
Hmm.
decide like where my face was because of the mask and everything.
Yeah, I noticed that with Skype. There's a bunch of filters on Skype for background, and it's the AI detection of your face. So if you have a mask on, it's gonna kind of put that up as a background. It definitely could
Looks
blur
like they
it.
need to program a new algorithm, like all
Yeah,
those people that have masks on, shit.
yeah, they had to do that with the cell phones. Change it for the face unlock because everyone has a mask on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fucking up the Face ID. But yeah, just hit me up sometime, man. And get some more
yeah. It
people
was
on
fun. It
here,
was
and
nice talking with you.
yeah, this was an enjoyable night. Thanks for
Yeah, it
coming
was
on.
fun. Maybe next time, we'll gather some content up and maybe,
Absolutely.
comment on some more things.
Yeah, no, I just figured tonight's kind of have a little chat and stuff is kind of nice to. I've read a lot of your stuff, but to hear it in person and uh, of course you're gonna add a lot more detail when you speak about it. So that was good tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot rattling around in there, and I could get. I know I don't always drive the straightest, most perfect path, but I kind of go off road a little bit.
Oh no, it's all
Oh,
good.
that's how it is.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, hit me up and we'll try this again sometime. Yeah.
All right, peace, man. You take it
Later.
easy.
You too.
It was
Thanks.
fun.
Night.
Thank you. Bye.